All right, welcome back to another podcast. This is the Main Beam. I'm Landon Stockman. I'm going to be your host.
Brady Shockman.
Spencer Mertens.
And we got our first guest on today, Mr. Dale Wilson. So today's actually the December the 17th. It's pretty nice out today. We went to the farm, got a few things done, and
got some pictures taken for some people. Knocked some stuff off the board.
Knock some things out, and hopefully can sit here and talk some hunting. So
yeah, still got warm weather. No cold fronts yet for late season, so deer hunting's been kind of slow.
Our weather's been absolutely terrible.
Been in the 60s the past how many days?
Yeah. The 2-week forecast is literally like 55, 57 for the next 2 weeks.
We need snow.
Yeah.
Bad.
Going into the first of the year's like muzzleloader season.
Well, the main problem is too this year no one's got any food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there is no food.
Such a drought this year. We haven't had any. I mean, when we do get the weather, we don't have any food to hunt really anyway.
If you have any food, it's going to be great to hunt if we do get the weather.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I was going to say come even, first of the year, for that first weekend of the year, I think it's going to be good. We get a cold front in, over some green plots or standing grain still.
Well, we got, I guess, about a month left here. And
just about 4 weeks left and season's done.
we got muzzleloader, and then the rest would be bow. But other than that, it's season's coming to an end.
Winding down. I said we've had several people send us pictures already, or on our trail cams, deer shed one side already.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't have any, but I've had a few get sent to me about shedding already, which is either just.
Myself.
Do you?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them. I think it's like I was talking earlier, just a dry year, lack of food, lack of everything.
Yeah, weird.
But I've always said dry years suck for deer hunting. There's no food.
Oh, that's how 90% of our deer put on less than 5 inches this year.
Oh, it affects,
some of them may even have went backwards.
It affects antler growth and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe it. I greatly believe it. That's, it's the telltale thing out west on dry years. Usually deer and elk, they don't have any tops on their antlers. They have good fronts, but nothing on the tops, or vice versa.
We're due for a good wet growing year, honestly. The last 3 summers have been drought and EHD.
Yeah, we actually found a buck today.
On Grandpa's farm.
Yep.
Really?
Dead along the creek.
Still in velvet.
Mm.
And I'm sure, I haven't been over to his farm even since hunting season started, so I'm sure we're going to find a few more.
I haven't been down to our farm to look at any of the hard, to reach places. We got a few ponds. Now you got me thinking, we check them for cattle, but there's a few that we haven't had any cattle on that part of the farm for a while. So,
right,
it hit pretty good this year. I know, like northern southern Iowa,
southern Iowa got smoked with it. So we know some people up there just in the DNR and stuff, and it was deer after deer after deer just dead.
There's a really great way to start an argument. What's worse, EHD or chronic wasting disease? Everybody can fight about that later.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't like either one of them. So
I know I've seen a lot more damage from EHD, especially in our neck of the woods, than that I personally have seen.
Yeah. So
chronic wasting.
I think Joe Biden's worse than both those do.
Probably.
He is CW. No, he is EHD.
Just melted brain.
Shoot. So, episode 3 here, we're going to be getting into and talking about some Western hunting. You do a lot of. And how long have you been out west hunting now?
Gosh, I want to say my first year was 2000.
Really?
Oh, wow.
For a while then.
Yeah.
Pretty experienced.
Yeah, something like that. Try to take multiple trips a year, depending on when I can draw tags, where, what state, and trying to put it all together. It's like a second job, just to enjoy yourself.
Right. So, going back to 2000, have you seen it progressively get worse, or more hunters, or harder to hunt, or?
That's a $64 question. Just depends on where you go.
Right.
When I very first went, we went pronghorn hunting, and it was amazing. We went to a no-name unit in Wyoming. Literally, if I even threw the unit out there now, people are like, "What? Where's that?"
Right.
Hunted. I think we had around 10,000 acres of private to hunt, and then we had another 100,000 of public. It was a walk-in area we had to get a permit for. And
wow.
It was insane. I was ripe old age of, I think I was 17. And it just had no idea what to expect. And we all went out there and we killed a buck and a doe. Well, actually, we killed a buck and 2 does each. We picked up leftover doe tags, and there was just goats everywhere. And this year, driving across Interstate 80, I think I saw 26 antelope halfway across Wyoming, and that was it.
That's
Wow.
insane.
After the winter kill.
After the winter kill. So the winter kill, I seen a lot of it run through. It didn't hit everywhere, but
No.
it did. The areas that it did hit, it did a number.
And that's the thing with winter kills as well. There will be pockets in areas that are like they get hit really, really hard with a winter kill. You might find 2 or 3 whole herds decimated. They might find 100 animals, and you go 2 miles down the road, and then all of a sudden there's
it's
a pocket.
fine, yeah.
There's like nothing ever happened. There's deer, elk everywhere.
That's kind of like me and Brady this year. We went out elk hunting in Colorado, and the unit we were in, I mean, we saw elk, but during our week we were there, it was very tough. And we had a buddy that was just the unit next to us, and I mean, they were on big bull
Yeah,
after
they
big
were
bull.
just several miles from us, and it was Snapchat after Snapchat. Oh, big bull bugling, got a bunch of cows, and we're like,
Yeah.
I cut my left arm off to even see a bull right now.
Yeah, just to see a legal bull
Yeah.
or hear one bugle, let
Yeah.
alone.
And the coolest part was Grandpa and his brother. I mean, we had one night where me and him, so we had seen these cows like the day before, kind of up on top, like 10-5, 10. And we were like, oh, well, we're going to circle around this side of the mountain today. We're going to try hunting the backside of it. So we kind of went up there, way too much downfall, couldn't even hunt it. So we were like, all right, pretty much this evening hunt's wasted. Well, we just walked through cow calling, got all the way down like a mile into this other area and past Grandpa and his brother sitting there. And they texted us like 30 minutes later, got a bull coming down the hill where you just were. They said it was screaming at them. And I was like, oh.
But it was, I mean, it was our
cool,
first,
cool experience. for
first year
them.
we've ever been out there. We've never.
Yeah, we had no idea what we
yeah,
were doing half
it
the
was,
time.
It was a whole learning
Still
experience.
don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I just get lucky once in a while.
We were just hoping to trip into one, honestly.
Yeah, it was. Well, we were told 80% of the herd was killed off from last year. That they had an estimated 240,000 elk,
Yeah,
The year
crossing
before.
several units there,
And-
all the way down to
35 or 40.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think they cut tags 15,000.
they cut it by a lot.
I mean, I didn't draw at all. Brady had a tag, and
Yeah, I had a bull tag.
Grandpa
I
and
was 150 miles west of you guys.
Mhm.
Season later, and gosh, I mean, usually like up on top of the public. We had a piece of private there. And that's another thing. Everybody thinks because you're hunting private in
Yeah.
Colorado out west that you're really just going to knock it out of the park, and it's not even.
Yeah,
close.
no,
It's-
that's we stayed on 300 acres of private with that cabin. I mean, granted, there was a lot of mule deer on the private, but I mean, there was not one time we were sitting there where we were like, "Oh, we got the elk here," just because we were on a piece of private in the middle of national forest, and it was never like, "Oh, well, the elk." I mean, every elk we seen was on public, but
That's same here. Like we usually hunt up there. It's around 10,000 acres, and there's about 10 of us that hunt it, which sounds like a lot, but actually it's not
Yeah,
too close.
not- yeah.
If you flatten that 10,000 acres out, it would be 30,000 acres.
Right,
It's
yeah.
pretty steep. And am I getting into this here? Good. But usually you can just set your spotter up and glass any direction to
Yeah.
public, private, all kinds of different private. You see elk every which direction you look, and I didn't see an elk until the third day.
ooh,
And this is very glassable country.
I mean, we didn't see an elk.
what was that? New Mexico this year?
That was Colorado.
Colorado this
Yeah,
year.
We
that's
didn't
right.
see an elk till the probably third day.
Yeah, the third day, and we really didn't even see a bull till the
last
last
day.
day. The last day we seen a bull like whatever, call it a 3/4 of a mile away on another hillside, just with a bunch of cows. But it still wasn't like it was. We weren't going to pack up and be like, all right, well, we got 10 minutes of shooting light left. We're going to run 3/4 of a mile over. Actually, it's probably farther than that away to get on him.
Get lost in the dark.
It wasn't doable. But
It
I mean,
happens.
cool experience though.
Yeah, no.
You got to start somewhere, and that's where it is. Everybody has to go, and I would say the first couple times you go, you just really have to figure out yourself while you're out there.
Yeah,
You got to
that's
figure out what works
Yeah.
for you. How fast you can get up the mountain, what you can carry, what
Yeah.
just even your style of hunting. Because what works for me probably may not work for you guys.
right. That's kind of how it was. I mean, more or less, we knew even going into it, it was just going to be a learning experience and just something to, get our first elk hunt under, under our belt just to say, oh, we've been and we kind of learned this, or don't do this or do this, and that's pretty much exactly how it went.
Yeah, and a lot of it is, I guess, how comfortable you are at shooting. I mean, the opportunities are kind of endless out there. If your range is 500 yards, you're
Yeah, I mean, we had a couple guys with cow tags out there. I mean, had they have felt comfortable shooting, well, even 300 yards, we would have been in the game. But call it 500 or 800 yards, we could have poked I don't know how many cows.
Yeah. But how far do you practice, or how far are you comfortable when you're?
Oh gosh, practicing, I can shoot 1,300. Just here playing. I'd never shot anything that far. My farthest kill is 853 on a mule deer in Wyoming.
Wow.
Shooting that Bagara still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Bagara action.
Right.
It started out in a 300 Win mag. I burnt the barrel out in about a year. It's got another 300 Win mag barrel on it, but I put it on there. It's kind of, you boys know me. It doesn't stay factored very long around myself. But no, that's another thing. That's what I love about shooting long range. Staying proficient with it as well, because like you just mentioned, your opportunities. I wanted more opportunities while I was hunting out west.
Sure.
Like New Mexico this year, I killed a bull at a little over 500, and had I not been able to do that, shoot that far, I'd be like, well, there goes another bull.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that bull actually, that was your first day there, was it not?
No, that was actually the day 4.
Oh,
I hunted that bull for 7 days.
Oh my.
Yeah, I found him 3 days before the season opened, and I could not lay eyes back on him. I could hear him every day. He had a very distinct bugle, but I could not find him back, actually get eyes on him until the 4th morning of the actual hunt.
What kind of country were you in out there? Were you?
That's north central New Mexico.
Okay.
So 10 miles any direction, it changes. Now, 2 days before that, we killed about a 265 6-point bull down in the desert floor. You're 6,500 feet. When I killed my bull, I think I was 8,200 feet. It goes from one end to the other. It's either flat desert or it goes straight up into rough, jagged canyons, juniper.
Yeah.
The juniper's down lower in between, but pinyons.
It's not super steep like Colorado is, though, is it?
It's more rugged.
Yeah.
It all depends. Depends on where you go. I mean, it's very, very, very diverse. I mean, Colorado is as well, but it's more colorful.
So your favorite Western state to hunt?
Wherever I can get a tag. Really. Well, I don't know. That would probably be a coin toss between Wyoming and New Mexico. I love Colorado too. I just the different seasons. It all depends. I mean, I hunt with a muzzleloader bow.
Yeah.
We're leaving in 2 weeks for archery in New Mexico. I'm not really discriminatory. As long as I got a tag, let's go.
Right.
I don't even have to have a tag. As long as somebody's got a decent tag, I'm like, oh, I'll get in. I'll go with you guys. I'll spot for a week. Just another reason to be out in the mountains. I don't care.
And I mean, tags are so hard to come by anymore. I don't know how they were back in the 2000s, but you said the tag that you're about to go on took you 19 years to draw.
19 years on just a random draw. I've been in the same, not that specific tag, but the same little area. I've been trying to draw one of 3 or 4 units right there in the January archery season for mule deer in New Mexico, and this is the very first time I've ever drawn it.
Oh wow,
That's
high hopes, and huh?
You know what? I'm just gonna go enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm already against the odds. I'm taking a crossbow on an archery hunt on a special permit because I tore my bicep, and that's another deal on its own. So I've been trying to learn how to shoot a crossbow right-handed when I'm naturally a lefty. So,
and you tore your bicep this year on the
elk hunting on the very first one.
On the very first one.
Yeah, elk hunting is hard on your health.
Oh,
I think
that's
hunting
no
in
doubt.
general is.
My best buddy I elk hunt with, I think he's tore 2 ACLs elk hunting. Yeah, I've got my forearm now.
On trips.
I think
A lot to look forward to.
a lot to look forward to. A lot of stitches, a lot of blisters on your feet.
I think I'm sticking to whitetail.
You guys fall out of trees though, hunting
Yeah,
whitetails.
that's true.
I don't like climbing trees. I'll climb a mountain all day, but I don't like climbing trees anymore. I haven't whitetail hunted one time this year, guys.
Really?
Really?
Not even once. No, I had
Oh
surgery
my.
2 days before the rifle season opened, and I had those 2 tags before rifle season opened here, and so all my archery was burnt up. Well, I had 3 tags before our season opened here, so I kind of, I just had to pick what I wanted to do.
Do you do a whole lot of like training to prepare, or you just go out there and be a man about it?
I used to go out there and be a man about it when I was your guys' age. Anymore, no, I have to train all year long.
Do you?
Yes.
And what do you do to train?
Oh my gosh, eat right, go to the gym,
Yeah.
high reps, low weight. I don't run. I mean, I've got enough titanium in my lower body. So you could build a really good sculpture. I've got some pins and rods in my left leg and my lower back, and so I don't run, but a recumbent bike is my best friend.
Yeah, that's a lot like whenever we went this year, I know a lot of people are like, oh, unit you're going into is, pretty steep stuff, this and that, y'all training. And we had his Kansas muzzleloader hunt coming up, and it was already, late summer before.
Yeah, we got so busy with work and stuff, we didn't train at all. We were just like,
Yeah, I was like, I'm going into it. I'm going to bring a bunch of mountain ops, and I'm going to just fucking run up the mountain if I can.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd say the first day you were a little winded, like trying to get used to that elevation and air. But other than that, I mean, we were going up, from 8,000 feet to 10,500, 11, no problem. Just.
Oh, see, that's awesome. See, a lot of guys I know, especially flatlanders like ourselves, they have a lot of problem with altitude.
Yeah. No, there's.
Problem.
I mean, we go snowboarding every year in Keystone out there, and we'll take friends from here, and they get out there, and it's like they're just having a panic attack. They're like, "Oh, can't breathe, my head's spinning."
And you're only at what, 7,500?
Yeah,
Snow skiing.
six to seven.
well, I think
6 to 7 the base, the 10 or the you can hike
Yeah.
up in the bowls at whatever 10.5,
right.
11.8 or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's even when we got. I mean,
hell, half of them get altitude sickness when.
yeah, we had them little cans. The guy from here was like, "Yeah, you need to make sure you got them little oxygen cans with you." And we were like, "Oh,
We
all
actually
right."
make fun of those.
Yeah, and so
I've never used one, but there's some guys that we hunt with. The cool thing about our Colorado hunt every year is there's guys from Oregon, California, Texas. I'm the farthest guy east, and a couple of guys bring that oxygen can when they first, I say when they first started, when they first got popular. And they might work, but we all made fun of each other so bad for them, so no one uses them anymore.
I will say though, like I don't know how many Shane bought like 20 bottles of it off Amazon because he didn't know.
Did it work?
No, I'm telling you right now, it worked. Like
I didn't feel that big of a difference.
I did. I was breathing a little heavier, maybe going up, but
I think a lot of it depends on how much altitude sickness is how much oxygen your blood is taking in, to go into your body. So it just depends on different person, different body. My wife went on her first trip this year with me. It was her very first trip out west, period. She came to New Mexico with me, and she scouted with me for 3 days hardcore before the season and hunted with me on 4 days, 2.5 days hardcore. And she wanted to die the whole time.
oh yeah,
She's very, well, I mean, you guys know my wife. I mean, athletic. She trains more than I do. She meal preps more than I do.
Right.
She played college softball, highly, all the way through. And she's like, yeah, I don't know why you do this to yourself. I mean, it's a lot of fun, but she goes, it's just terrible.
yeah.
And I was like, well, yeah, some of us are stupid.
That's the first day when we were out there elk hunting this year. We should have spent way more time on the north part of the mountain than what we did. But the first day, for some reason, we went to the southeast side or whatever it was.
When we got into all the snow.
Yeah, and we kept walking. I mean, we found elk tracks and stuff, but we followed it and we're just following sign and looking for places to hunt. And I mean, there was times we were walking through 20 inches of snow, and it was like, your legs, you're just stepping.
You just feel the burn.
Yeah.
You just feel the burn, especially, you're in a totally different realm than what we're used to here.
Yeah.
Everybody grabs their pack and their rifle or their bow, and they take off to their blind or tree stand. Oh, man, that was a hard walk. You're hot, you're sweaty, you're out of breath, and it's like, man, we didn't even get started. Like we're just, you're a half mile from the trailhead.
Yeah.
Like here you're walking into an 80-acre farm or 80-acre, piece of ground to sit on.
Yeah.
Out there, 80 acres is just like a pinhead.
Yeah.
That's your camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I think the shortest walk or day we had was 10 10 or 11 miles.
Yeah, I
was
mean,
the shortest
we walked
that
a lot.
we had.
I mean, that's legit. I mean, I think I glass a lot. I like to hunt country.
Yeah.
I can glass. I've got a small fortune in glass. I mean, if you're going to be a serious Western hunter, you need to.
Yeah.
I mean, even hunting here, you need to have all that. But I think I logged 38 miles for my New Mexico bull,
Wow.
and most of that was 7,500 because I'm not gonna lie, we hunt the desert floor, the low ground.
Yeah.
We hunt from the truck and glass, and I mean,
Yeah.
you can see forever, and it's just you bail over here, and you get within a half mile or a mile,
Yeah.
and then jump out and take off.
Yeah.
I mean, sounds easy, not necessarily. You have rattlesnakes down there you got to worry about too.
That's no fun.
No, they're not. They're not.
You afraid of snakes?
I mean,
That's why I carry a side piece.
Yes.
sidearm.
You always take somebody with you, and you just push them down and run like hell.
Dude, when we were in South Texas this year hawk hunting, I tried to get the guide. That's the one thing I wanted to do was go kill a big rattlesnake because I wanted to put it up on a board.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, no, we can't. He wouldn't take us. He's like, no. I'm like,
Why?
I don't know.
Yeah, but he did tell us to bring a sidearm,
Yeah.
basically, just in case when you're on your way to the blind that
Yeah.
you
Walk
run
in a little
into
too
one.
close.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was like, I don't even want to, like, it's not like I want to walk up and catch it with my hand or hit it with a stick. I'm like, I just want to see it
And shoot it.
Yeah, and shoot it and then take it home.
And I've had a lot of run-ins with rattlesnakes over the years hunting out west, like pronghorn. One year we went, very first year we went was 2000, I think. It was cold. Never saw a snake. I mean, we killed 12 goats in a day and a half, something like that. Next year we went expecting the same thing. It was 80 degrees opening day, hot. And 2 days later, it was the second day, it just dropped. And there were rattlesnakes laying everywhere, coiled up. Like we walked around, and I probably shot a box of shells out of a 7 mag, just blowing up rattlesnakes, coiled up. I mean, I didn't know anything. I was, 19 years old. I mean, I'm just having a good time. Boom, and it's like, hey, we're gonna run out of shells before we get this, before we kill all these. So
That'd be pretty expensive this day and age.
oh my gosh, yeah, you couldn't get me to fire a hand loaded rattlesnake now unless it was
my.
attached to me.
What would you say is your favorite, like, Western animal to chase?
Oh man, that's another one. For years it was mule deer.
Really?
I primarily hunted mule deer for probably 13, 14 years. And I mean, I'd get a cow tag in between, where I
Yeah.
could pick one up, random with a deer tag. I spent a lot of time building preference points to a couple states, and that's really how I got sucked into the mule deer bug, was trying to build elk preference points. Usually big elk and big mule deer don't coincide together.
Yeah.
If it's a great elk unit, it's usually pretty sparse for deer. If it's a great deer unit, it's sparse for elk, vice versa. And I don't know, I've really been sucked back into the elk bug again since 2019, I guess, 2020. I don't know. I mean, statistics would say, I think since 2020, I've killed 4 mule deer, and I've killed 9 bulls.
Yeah, I was
Something
gonna
like
say,
that.
we
That's
usually
impressive.
get a couple pictures a year of bulls, so
I try. They're not always the biggest ones. They're mostly, dinks, but
they eat good.
they eat extremely good. That's what I had for supper before I came over. That's what I was busy making.
We should have done this podcast at dinner.
Yeah, we
then.
should have done that at your house.
You should have just came on over and just brought it all over and plugged it in. I mean, sit around the Pit Boss. I'll get you guys a sponsorship from Pit Boss. It's the only
Yeah.
way to cook elk is on a Pit Boss.
Be
Sure.
nice.
Yeah, I have a dedicated freezer just for Western game meat.
Really?
Yep. It's got 3 elk in it now and 2 mule deer. Hopefully it'll have 1 more mule deer in it before long.
Did your dad go out there much with you when you were younger?
My dad got me started out west, mainly fishing.
Really?
Yep. It was kind of, I always wanted to go out west and hunt. He wanted to go fish. We fished and hunted together, and he's kind of been done for probably, honestly, close to 10 years.
Yeah.
We went, trying to think, I think 2015 was the last time we went together, and he doesn't even really fish much anymore.
Really?
Yeah, he's just kind of to the point where he's got too many other things to do. That's what he says.
Seems like everyone gets to that age where they kind of phase out of it again and find something else to do, or they feel like they've accomplished all the goals that they want to accomplish and move on to.
I'm waiting for my time because I'd save a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
I would save
No
a
kidding.
lot of money if I did. But yeah, I mean, I get so into it. Like I said, I got to go to the expo. I mean, the only reason I go to the expo is so I can apply for Utah's hunts that you can only apply for in person there.
Really?
Yeah, and you have such a small chance of drawing one of them.
Yeah, lottery tags.
Unless you're there, though, you cannot apply for those tags. So they're extra. I mean, I guess they're just a way to, well, for one, it's more money. They allocate that money for other programs. And really awesome tags. I mean, some of the your YouTube hunters have drawn a couple of those tags the last few years, and man, they've killed some really, really big bulls.
Oh, I believe it.
Like one I watched the other day was like a 394 bull killed on mountain hunting. I mean, it's a dream for me, but for me to get to a 390 bull, I would have to pass a 250 bull. That's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I feel like that 230, 240, 250, all the way up, 260. It's almost like that whitetail that's like 130, 140, 150. They look so good on the wall. It's so hard not to, to be disciplined enough to actually pass them.
I actually passed a 255, 260 bull this year.
Really?
2 of them in New Mexico, and I thought I had lost my mind. I mean, it was like, and day 3 rolled around, and I still hadn't found the bull I was looking for, and I was like, man, I really wish this tag was in either sex because I'd shoot a cow, in a heartbeat, just so that way I could get this monkey off my back, And it all worked out, but almost not. I mean, it's elk hunting is elk hunting. I mean, that's like I said, I tore my bicep right after I killed that bull, trying to get him in position to break him down. So.
And that was a crazy story in itself.
Oh my gosh, yes. That 2 young fellas decided, I mean, it's public land. I mean, you have to, put up with this all the way around. I mean, and public land etiquette is public land etiquette. Everybody should. I say it like this: don't do anything that you don't want done to you on public land.
And that applies for, I mean, any kind of.
Anything.
Absolutely.
Just in general. I mean, like I tell people, like when you live your life on a daily basis, don't do anything to anybody else you don't want done to you. I mean, it happens in the woods, and on the mountain. Sadly, a lot of people try to take the easy way out. I left camp that morning, and I told my wife, I said, I'm going to shoot the next legal bull I find. I said, this day 4, I want to shoot one for sure. I want something to eat. I mean, I love to eat them. Took off, left camp, went up the mountain. I just stopped, getting the wind reading, just waiting to see, make sure everything was blowing the way I thought it was. And bull bugled up ahead. And about 5 minutes before, saw a car drive by in the dark, down the road. Doesn't, it's one of the main roads through the unit, so, not a big deal. I had no idea they stopped, and I heard another bugle down below me, and I heard them bugle down the road, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, they stopped. So I knew there was at least 2 bulls there, and then the bull I was after bugled. Everything turned into a circus after that. Bull comes up. I see him. I missed him clean at 300 yards. I mean, it just happens. I wanted to puke. And finally got everything put together. I bugled at him. He came back over the rise, and I shot him. He went down, got up, shot him again. He went down. This, I'm just stoked. I just killed my biggest bull ever. Called my wife, told her, I said, hey, grab me some meat bags. I didn't have any meat bags. Got off the phone with her. I turned around, the bull's standing back up again. I was like, oh my gosh. And he's a little over 500 yards, so shot him again, dropped him. Shot him again, dropped him. He got up again. I was like, what is up with this? I mean, this thing will not die.
Let's take something bigger than a 22.
And I don't even want to tell what I was shooting. I mean, because it's terrible. I mean, I was, high shoulder shot. I wasn't hitting anything vital. I was just, trying to break that shoulder. And he didn't want to have his shoulder broke. I mean, he didn't want to have any part of it.
He was just eating them.
He ate, let's see, he wound up, I shot 7 times.
Oh, my.
And he ate 5 out of a 338 rum.
Holy smokes.
270 grain Hornady ELDXs. I'd never seen anything like it. I mean, I had never watched the impact in my scope and watched him go down. I've killed a pile of elk. I mean,
could have used those 7 rounds on rattlesnakes.
Yeah. I mean, I was starting to think like, man, what is going on here? Like, this thing won't die. So I finally get him killed. I get up, I go to take off, and I hear 2 shots. like, that's weird. I was like, well, okay, there's these other guys down here, maybe, because the elk kind of went that direction. Go a little farther, and I go on up, and I hear a four-wheeler. Like, okay, well, I'm a good ways away from the road, but it still doesn't mean you won't be able to hear a four-wheeler.
Right.
Hear two more shots. Didn't think nothing about it. Well, those two guys watched me shoot that bull, and I seen them go back down on the four-wheeler, and they came back up, and they actually shot him in the side of the head and shot his main beam, trying to claim him from me.
Yeah.
And they had quite the story worked out. I guess they'd done this before because they came up over the ridge, and I was like, so what are you guys doing here? When of course, you can imagine I got up over the rise and got to him, and I could see that then, like, clearly, because I dropped out of his sight whenever I left to go recover him. I could see those boys. I just didn't put two and two together, actually, until it was completely over,
right?
The situation. Because
yeah.
I was, like I just said earlier, you do on public land what you want done to yourself. So I'm thinking everybody else is in the same mindset I'm in. Not everybody's, that way. Here they come, and they said, well, we already called the state police and got the game warden involved. And I was like, whoa, where'd this come from? And little did they know, I've got a really good friend that lives there. His brother-in-law is the game warden. So,
you're done.
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, so I text my buddy Gabe. It's the game warden there. I was like, man, that's me. They called you about, and he's like, what are you talking about? They hadn't called the game warden. They hadn't called state police. They hadn't nothing.
They were just calling your bluff.
They were just they were trying to bluff me. So I just, out of respect, because you don't want your friends in a totally different state. What I do, reflects on my friend, because in turn as a game warden, if I look like a jackass out there, then of course, it makes a non-resident, makes my friends, not just his friend, but his relative.
Grab that bottle. The bottle's just wiggling, so it's getting a little feedback.
I thought it was this.
No, it's the bottle. You're good.
I'm deaf. I can't hear that stuff anyway, guys.
You're good.
But their whole demeanor just changed whenever I said that. And I was like, well, wait a minute. So Gabe just calls me. And I was like, well, I'm up here on this county road, and this is it. And he's like, well, I'll be right up there. I was like, oh, okay. So when I said that he was coming, everything just changed and went down. Then my wife gets up there, and she's not having any of this. Like, she read this, thoroughly. And I'm trying to be nice. Again, I'm still trying to be nice. Well, my wife's not really the nicest person out there, when it comes to that. She just walked a little over 2 miles from camp to get up here. And you got two little peckerheads, trying to pull some stunt. When, again, I was kind of naive to the situation, and I shouldn't have been, because it's happened to me before.
Yeah.
But it's very obvious. You could see, where they had shot him on the side of the head. They ruined his cape, and like I said, they took a big chunk out of his main beam. But you can't tell me that you can get that lucky shooting from, you know what I mean, 100 yards away. I shoot a lot. Accuracy is a big thing to me, and it'd be hard for me to, clip a main beam on a 300-inch bull and not, not take it clean off. And the fact that somebody would just do that just disgusted me after that fact,
Yeah, that's a shame.
But my thing is okay. So if I would have been like, all right, fine, you guys just take this bull, go on. And that's what I didn't understand. He had 5 holes in him from a 338 rum. That's just, a little bit bigger than a 338 Lapua.
Yeah, that's
You're claiming something. He shot all the pieces. I actually didn't lose much for meat, period, on him. He had a lot of holes in him, but they were just in spots that, typically go to waste anyway.
Right.
Behind the shoulder, high shoulder. That shoulder joint, when I usually pack them out, I debone them anyway. Because I'm not going to pack bone out unless it's attached to a head if I don't have to. So
did you end up running them peckerheads off the mountain?
Yeah, to say the least. I kind of gave them an ultimatum. I was like, hey, you guys can just get the fuck out of here. I've had enough Ians, This is it, and they're like, well, I was like, well, go ahead. And, I called them. Of course, they just decided it was going to be best to leave and not come back. Hopefully they learned a good lesson not to do that, because everything that they kept saying.
They ended up getting caught, too.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
They did.
Good deal.
Everything they kept saying, I was like, everybody they kept naming, like name dropping, I knew everybody there.
Right.
Like I said, my dad bought a place 25 years ago down there, and you get to know people over the years, like you guys hunting in Kansas, hunting in Iowa, hunting a lot of different places. You make friends along the way.
Oh, yeah. And you start to know people and know people they know, and you build a pretty big tree of, people.
Exactly. So, you're always on your best behavior when you're out in these, especially in other states, hunting. You always try to do everything you can to, to help everybody else along the way. And that's my secret to elk hunting, is making friends along the way.
Yeah, that's really what it takes. Almost, whether you're Western hunting or even around here. If you're a piece of shit person, you're probably not getting, really far with, whether it's permission property or finding a lease or,
Exactly.
whatever. You're not getting anywhere.
Or even just say property management. No one's going to let you in.
Yeah.
If you're just that piece of garbage. No one wants you around.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, there's no point in it. There's no point in acting that way. But people do it. 20 years ago, 18 years ago, I had it happen on a mule deer. It was dead, laying still. Guy comes over the rise, sees it laying there, shot at it, and then tried to come claim it. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, like I said, this is almost 20 years ago.
Wow.
Idiocracy's always been there. It's just more popular to let it out now.
Yeah.
And was that an older guy with a mule deer, or was it
The mule deer was actually a guy at the time that was probably 10 years older than me. And I don't understand people's thought process. I don't know if they think they're going to come be a bully. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like someone's just going to be like, oh, yeah, take it, leave.
Exactly. Yeah. I've just never understood that. Like, I mean, they think a little bit of confrontation is going to, turn somebody off, because I'm the type like, no, I'm not going to get into it with you about this, but if you want to,
Right.
you can.
Yeah.
I mean, it just boils down to being a good person at the end of the day.
I wonder, like, how much it actually happens to where people, like, won't even speak up or just are like, oh, yeah, no, sure, you can have it. Like,
Or scared.
yeah, or scared or
I
just.
think that's just it, because those boys that did that to me in New Mexico, I mean, the very first words they let out with were game warden, state police.
Yeah, just enough to where you're like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, and if you're like us, I mean, you get 4 guys sitting here that, have clean records, don't, do anything wrong. You go ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, call them.
Sure.
I mean, this is just going to be a dispute. I mean, and I'm sure there's a lot of people, I don't want to deal with this. I'm from out of state. I don't want to get involved. No, you just take it and go. And it makes me wonder, like, how many times have they gotten away with this?
Yeah.
It happens, I guess, but my thing, like, especially with take a bull that size, you're going to take that thing home. You're going to tell everybody some BS story.
Yeah.
Why? What's the point? You didn't kill it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I hiked in 10 miles and shot it and then hiked it all out in the same day.
Yeah, and I mean, if it wasn't the first time they did it, imagine, I mean, say they even had a wall of, 5 or 10 elk. Imagine how could you walk into your house, shop, or even if you had them outside, wherever you got them, and be like, oh, yeah, I look back, I killed, and just like lie to yourself that you actually killed them all.
I stole that one.
I mean, it's insane.
You have to fabricate that whole.
Yeah.
I don't want it. I mean,
right.
Even if if I didn't say I finished it for somebody and I come along and I had no idea the bull was even shot,
right.
or the buck or the bull, and you come over the rise and say, I shot it first. Well, I'll be damned. There's another hole in there.
Yeah.
It's yours. And the blood trail going back that way, I want no part of it.
Right.
I mean,
I just helped you out.
Yeah. I'm like, well, here you go, dude. You need some help getting this thing out of here?
Yeah. I mean, past that point, you're almost fabricating your whole life. Like, say they had taken that bull and, like, taken it back, like, literally for the rest of their life, they could have been like, oh, yeah, they would have lied to themselves for that long.
The rest of their life.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
Yeah, I've never understood the whole, any of that nonsense, because you put so much work. Like, I put so much work into these hunts. I mean, they take all year, from onX to, dropping waypoints, talking to friends.
Well, the time in it, too. I mean,
just the time, the
money.
Yeah.
The money on top of it. Oh, my gosh. I don't even want to tell what I have set aside every spring just for applying for 5 different states.
Yeah.
From moose to elk to mule deer, pronghorn. I mean, it's an obsession, of course, but that's what I do.
Yeah, and travel and gas and everything.
Yeah. That really has put a hurt on the last 2 years.
Grandpa Joe ain't helping us out, any?
No, Uncle Joe ain't helping us doing nothing.
No.
See a lot of stickers of him on diesel pumps between here in New Mexico, here in Wyoming, here in Colorado. Says I did that,
That's one thing. Well, whatever. We both got big gas guzzling trucks, and it's like, how much money you could save if you could just get by with, like, a little gasket or car, but you just can't fit. It's just not feasible on trips like that. But
hell, with the car, think how much we could save if we kicked his ass out.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, and we could all still drive our gas guzzlers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's true.
Be done with it and go forward.
We could all still roll coal.
Exactly, and enjoy it.
I don't even do that anymore. Costs too much money.
Yeah, no kidding.
I just leave it in the garage.
Tell me about it. My poor diesel bill every month is. Ugh, I don't even want to talk about that. It's been nice. I haven't worked the last 2 months. With
Yeah.
this, not spending a lot of money, but not making
Yeah.
anything either.
Right.
Like I said, that's something used to. Gosh, I mean, years ago, we always thought we had to have 2 or 3 guys go on a hunting trip just so you could afford, the fuel, break it up 3 ways.
Right.
The last 10 years up until the last 2 years, one guy could go on a hunting trip. Say just a Colorado OTC trip, $1,200 round trip. Fuel, camping, tag, everything. Have a great time. It's closer to $2,000 now,
Yeah.
and that's not even a fantastic, that's staying as cheap as you can stay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Taking groceries with you,
Yep. That's what I've asked several people that go out there every year. I'm always like, before we knew we were even going this year, I always ask, like, to you, is it worth, which they always come, well, I'll ask the question first, I guess, but to you, is it worth going every year and say you're spending that $1,200 or $2,000 at a minimum to go for, X amount of years before you kill something, or is it worth saving that $8,000 to $10,000 up and just going guided and killing one big bull? And they always say, monetarily, money wise, you're better off probably just to go guided one time if you just want to go kill one bull. But they said once you go once, like the experience of going back every year is so much better than whether you kill nothing or not.
Absolutely, it all depends on the person.
Yeah.
I've never been on a guided hunt, so
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you about all that.
Right.
My buddy Gabe, he guided for 4 or 5 years. So it really turned him off on hunting, just in general, because a lot of the guys that they bring, that come by those hunts, like one guy came, brand new rifle in the box, had 1 box of shells, didn't even have a scope mounted. He had to mount his scope for him.
Oh my.
Pronghorn hunt. Guy was from New York. This has probably been 15 years ago, but he had to sight the guy's rifle in for him.
Yeah.
And then got him under 100 yards so he could actually, kill a pronghorn.
Yeah, by the time you sight the rifle in, go through the rattlesnakes, and then you get out to the pronghorn.
You have no shells left.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got nothing. You got 3 rounds, man. Good luck.
Or have a bayonet on the end of that new rifle.
Exactly. I mean, you might want to carry a sharp stick with you for the rattlesnakes in between, something. But I've never done the guided thing. I'm not saying I never will.
Yeah.
If I cash in one of these, units one of these days, 15 points or something after waiting 15 years, and I probably will go with an outfitter.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go enjoy it. I'm going to go, try and find the longest, outfitted hunt I can.
Yeah.
But no, once you go one time, if you truly like the mountains, it just sucks into you.
Yeah.
And then, boy, if you kill one, look out. You'll be going
Right.
the rest. I know guys that's been going for 25 years and killed 1, maybe 2 elk in 25 years, and they continually go
Just
back
keep going.
every year. I mean,
And you all went once.
Yeah.
24 more years.
24 more years and we're good to go.
It's only just getting started.
you'll hit some dry times in there. I mean, elk hunting's what you make out of it. Elk
Yeah.
hunting's what you get out of it, what you put into it, like anything else. I mean, if you're looking for a trophy bull every year, good luck.
Yeah.
You almost have to live there, But if you want to kill a bull every year, it's not. I mean, I can't sit here and say it's not possible, because it is possible.
Right.
I mean, goodness gracious, Colorado, I think I'm 4 or 5 years in a row killing a bull.
Yeah.
In Colorado. New Mexico's about the same way, and I can't say Wyoming in a row because it takes 4 to 5 years, to draw a tag there.
General.
Yeah, just a general tag. But I've been very fortunate. I just have not had to eat very many elk tags, but I'm not very picky either.
Yeah.
I've killed some real dinks on some good tags. Just,
They taste too good.
they taste extremely too good. And, deer is the same way, mule deer. I mean, we're leaving, I think January 1st is our projected leave date, and the season doesn't close. It opens the 1st and it doesn't close till the 15th, so we're going to go hunt, 2 weeks. But
Yeah.
if I don't see anything huge, then I'm going to find something to eat.
Yeah.
I mean, people say mule deer don't eat good. I think they eat stellar. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just how you take care of it.
Absolutely. I think it's all how you cook it, too.
A
I mean,
lot of it.
I've had some people cook some whitetail that are, grow up on corn and beans, and
Mm-hmm.
it tastes like shit.
Yeah.
What about the brats that you made in Kansas?
Oh, they were absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, they were. Yeah, they were.
They might have not have been all the way done, but they were good.
Yeah.
It happens. Yeah, it happens. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right?
That's right.
Especially in hunting camp.
Yeah, no, that's what I love about out west too. Just our first experience this year is, I mean, you don't get the service, and you're out there.
You're there.
you're
You're there
there.
to hunt. I've lost a lot of good hunting friends over the years that I'm still friends with them. I mean, I'm not going to say we're not friends anymore, but they refuse to go hunt with me because that's a very big thing is what I call success of being successful in Colorado is, or I said not just Colorado, but any Western state, but you go to hunt, I go hunt all day, every day.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. If I decide that I'm tired, I just find a place on the mountain, take a nap, get in the sunshine, or if it's hot, get in the shade.
That's what we did.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's-
there's nothing else to do.
No,
There's no
yeah, I
reason
mean-
to go back to camp.
Yeah, we
No.
had.
Take your lunch with you.
Yeah, we had sandwiches, apples. I mean,
Yeah.
we had plenty of stuff packed. But there was times we may walk a little bit in the morning and then sit down, and we're like, oh, let's glass for a couple hours. Get up, walk around.
There's
eat,
no
you know.
TV, no service. You're not.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're not even messing with
There's
your
nothing
phone.
to
Right.
watch.
Yeah, taking pictures with your phone, maybe. Did you guys notice while you were out there, did you feel like you were calmer? Like as you're going through the mountain, like nothing else really
Yeah.
matters in the world at this point.
it's weird. I always said this about the first time when we hunted Western Kansas. Other than like Western Kansas out where we went this year, it's the only place we've ever been where you don't hear an airplane, you don't hear a chainsaw, you don't hear cars, you don't hear anyone else walking.
It's just peaceful.
You hear the wind blowing and whatever else is going on, and it's insane.
Like nothing else matters in the world. Like
Yeah.
everything, you can take all the politics, all the world, everything,
Yeah.
and just wad it up and throw it away because
Stress reliever.
Yeah, you're just away from everything.
Yeah, you don't think of a whole lot either. Like
Yeah,
you're
nothing-
in the hunt.
Yeah,
Yes.
nothing gets in my mind while
Nope.
I'm out there. I'm here to hunt. I don't care. Like, well, we were in New Mexico. My wife had to work while we were gone. She's administrator for the state, so she's got a pretty big girl job she has to stay on top of while we were out there. And she had her laptop going, this, that, the other, but like when she put it away and walk away from it, she's like, "Oh my gosh, I see what you mean now."
Yeah.
Because there's nothing else to do. And
Yeah, and I know there was times, like that second to last day, you're starting to get worn out, still, feeling a little more fatigued. But we hike up top of the mountain and got up there and sat on a rock, and you just kind of sit there and you're like, yeah, it is. It's just
It is what it is.
Yeah,
It's like this is it.
yeah,
It's beautiful country.
You're okay if like here, everybody wants to punch their tag. I mean, everybody wants to punch their tag all the time.
right.
But it's more more okay with yourself if you don't punch your tag out there.
Yeah.
Because it's a whole experience.
Yeah.
It's not just going and walking 200 yards off the road, sitting down and shooting something, which that does happen.
Yeah.
I mean, not saying it doesn't happen. It can't happen because it does happen there. But there's usually a lot more effort put into it, so you
Yeah.
reap your rewards. And like you said, you're wore out, especially like day 3, day 4, day
Yeah.
5. You guys get deeper into it. You get into like a 10-day hunt. Wow, 10 days. I mean, you are wore out. Like you got nothing left. You'll be dehydrated. I don't care how much Mountain Ops, Pedialyte,
Well, yeah.
everything. You just walk every ounce of fat you got off.
Yeah.
Just trying, and you just keep going, and you're so happy at the end of it. And then
When
you
you start pushing yourself to new limits that you didn't know you could do.
it actually, you said that. Like I was just gonna say, like hunting out west has actually pushed me to new limits in my everyday life.
Oh,
that
yeah.
I had no idea were even possible. Like as far as being in business, just getting out of bed and making stuff happen in the morning.
Yeah.
Getting up and going, because those hunts, like you see a lot of successful
Yeah.
hunts out west. Like any OTC animal is a trophy, if you ask
Yeah.
me, because there's so much goes into it, and everybody's going to get lucky, find one once in a while. It might go 4 or 5 times. Like I just said, I got buddies that's going for 25 years and killed 1 or 2 bulls each, but they keep going back. But,
Yeah.
they hunt them like whitetails, and they're okay with that. They want to go for the camaraderie and the whole
Yeah.
9 yards as well, but they do hunt all day too.
Yeah.
They might just be sitting closer to camp. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, you can't look at your phone.
Yeah.
Or you can if you want to. I mean, but then there is some places that I go hunt that literally are 5 miles of, just a path, just
Yeah.
just a trail. and you can't drive. No, it's just horse and foot. You get up there and your phone works better there than it does here at home.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. So I still don't use it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great camera. I usually put mine on airplane mode just for the fact that if I do get up there and somehow my ringer does get turned on, I don't spook something. I mean, that's a watch.
That or we were looking at Onyx. That's the only two things we were using.
Yeah, I mean, even though we didn't kill anything, I mean, not that I've walked up on any deer here that I've killed, but, it'd been 200 inches. But I knew going into out there, like, as much effort as we were going to put into it, had I actually, like, killed the bull, I honestly think I would have cried walking up to it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was I was pretty sure I was going to cry if I killed a bull and walked up on it. Like, it was going to feel that rewarding.
You put so much of your, like, to be, for me anyway, to be consistently successful every year, which, I mean, that could dry up in 2 weeks and I may never shoot another animal out west ever again. It takes everything I have in my spare time, going into that. I mean, my wife will even tell you, like, I don't have Facebook. I don't have any social media. I'm either looking at Onyx, Go Hunt. I mean, even YouTube.
Yeah.
I mean, just looking at different stuff on there. I mean, just looking at, if you can figure out where somebody's hunting, and it just sounds wild, you're watching someone else's YouTube video in Colorado. It's like, hey, I know what unit they're in. I know where they're at. That's when you're way too obsessed with it for just a passion. You know what I mean? But it helps me. It's like, oh, wow, I've been there. That's cool. I mean, you see those different places, but it takes a whole year in advance to, be ready, so to speak,
That's the same tree I sat by when I shot my first elk.
Yeah. It's a true story. I mean,
That's my spot.
Leave.
Yeah, put a comment, drop in the comments. Get out of there. That's my spot, man. Don't tell nobody where that's at.
Just because you killed something, there ain't going to be nothing there next year.
That's the thing about public land as well that just blows my mind with elk is I've seen spots where there's been 5 elk, literally 5 bulls killed in one day, and I went back in there the next day and killed another bull. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you think they'd just be moved completely out, and they're like, nope, we're here.
Yeah.
But when they vacate an area, man, they vacate an area. I mean, all they leave behind is their crap, and that's it.
Yeah.
They say, yep, we were there. And then they might come back. Just depends on if it's on the feed rotation, but you won't be there.
Yeah.
Because the season will be closed and back to real world life, driving back to good old Missouri.
Yep, that's right.
The drive is always.
Oh,
Man,
the drive's part of it.
Yeah, it is. We had fun driving this year because we had Grandpa and Grandpa's brother with us, me, Landon, and them too. And
I enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
I enjoy the road.
I think it's a lot of
We're
fun.
young, but the hunting that we did this year, I enjoy being on the road on the weekends and weeks at a time out hunting, and
Oh, absolutely.
I look forward to it.
Just the time away. I mean, even, it's like you guys, went with family. You had your grandpa, you had friends. Those are memories. Like the road trip is part of the hunt.
Oh, yeah.
People don't really understand that. But when you start driving 1,000 miles across the country and you pack all your crap with you for just stay for a week, and then you get out there, and it's just the feeling that comes across. The memories you never, ever, ever forget. I mean, some of my worst hunts have been some of my best memories.
Yeah, that's.
You
I made it a point. Well, he did one day too. We said going into it, we were going to make it a point to sit with Grandpa, and with his cancer, he had his legs. He can't walk anymore. So on that private, we had a side by side, and we could drive him around and drop him, and let him sit or whatever. So we made it a point to sit with him for a day, and I think that was probably, honestly, of the whole 8 days we were there or whatever, was probably my favorite sit, was sitting next to Grandpa and his brother, just because it may be the last chance they ever get to do it.
I was going to say, you guys, don't take any of that for granted.
Yeah.
Because a lot of guys I've hunted with over the years and the friendships I've made, across the western United States, a lot of those guys have passed away.
Yeah.
I can think of 2 places that I never did hunt their property, but they gave me permission to cross their property to get on their public just by meeting them. One couple, we picked them up on the county road, driving back one even. They were walking, older. So he just pulled up and said, hey, you guys need a ride? I said, yeah, we do, actually. For 10 years, we crossed their property to go hunt public that was landlocked, about 8,000 acres. Killed 3 bulls in there, and just because of that, but they have both since passed on.
Yeah.
Kind of you don't ever want to take any of that for granted because you never know when tomorrow ain't going to be here.
Yeah, sure. And I mean, I knew going into it, I didn't even bring a gun because I was like, whatever comes out. Grandpa had a either sex private, land either sex tag, so whatever come out, he was, he was going to shoot. And it, they'd been sitting in the spot all week, but that morning, I mean, we got dropped off hour before light, and we're sitting there, and started getting light. And I could have sworn at first I just seen some movement like 400 yards away. Threw my binoculars up, and I was like, I was like, wow, damn, I lost it. I can't really tell what it is. And it steps out kind of by this pond and the big thick brush there on, I don't even know what you call it, but it stepped out and it was a moose, big giant paddles on it. Had a cow with it and a calf. It was. I mean, just right there, I got to say, "Oh, Grandpa, right here, look,"
and that was the highlight of the trip.
Yeah, that was the highlight of the whole
He'd never
trip.
gotten to see.
Yes.
You'd never seen a moose out there.
No, not in the wild
Really?
or hunting.
Yeah. See, that's I've hunted southeast Wyoming quite a bit, and moose are buttholes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just not gonna lie. I'd almost take my chances with a grizzly bear over the moose.
See, the place we went, the guy told us when we were out there, he's like, he was out there archery hunting, and he the couple weeks before, and he's like, I'm telling you right now, he's like, you're probably gonna see this moose. He's like, I'm not shitting you. He said, I don't mess with the moose. He said, you keep a sidearm on you, whatever. And yeah, he said, whatever, they must be pretty mean, I guess.
Man, I've had multiple run-ins with them over the years, and they're just a great big animal. And like in Wyoming, it's usually the first 2 weeks of October is when we're deer hunting. That is their tail end of their prime rut. And moose don't, especially in that area of the state, they don't really have any natural predators.
Right.
There's no real wolves down around in there.
Is it just that they can't see very well? And
they just have a bad attitude. They can't see very well. They and the thing about a moose is they you meet people that just have a bad attitude in life.
Yeah.
I swear somebody pissed in a bull moose's Cheerios every morning before he gets up. Like, I swear that. They look like they'd be some kind of like a half-assed nice creature.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No. I've never been around one of them that I was, remotely comfortable with.
And don't let them fool you either. They can move.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, the one we seen, it would take like 2 steps and make it like 20 feet. I was like, oh, my.
Well, I'm 6'7", and there's not a lot that makes me feel small, and a moose makes me feel small.
Yeah.
I do not like being around it.
Whenever I first seen it, I mean, I never seen moose, whatever, in the wild either, and I seen it, and I was like, oh, what? It makes you just double take. I looked at it, I said, what the hell?
Get one at 10 yards that surprises you in dark timber, and you just look over and you're like, oh, wow. Like, now what? And
Run.
No, that's what you don't want to do. So they know you're not another moose. They can smell you. They know you're there. They know, and like I said, they wake up just in such a bad mood all the time. They just don't want you around because you take like a small bull. They're sexually frustrated. They've had their ass whipped by every other big bull on the mountain. And from what I've noticed, we've actually over the years watched them while we're glassing for deer, especially in that area. There's a lot of moose. I mean, you will see more moose than you'll see elk in that area when we're deer hunting. Which not saying there's not elk there. It's just a lot of moose. And we watched a bull chase one cow around this draw one day, literally half the afternoon, and she finally gave him the slip. She wanted no part of him whatsoever, had a calf with her, and it got to the point we were about to take bets on which way they were going to go. I bet these moose ran 50 miles in this one draw, and they were probably 2 miles away. We were watching them through spotters. I probably saw a video of it on my phone from the phone scope. It was comical. But they just don't take no for an answer. They decide that, hey, we don't want you here. They're just going to uproot 3 trees to get to you, and well, you're done.
It's unbelievable to me how the downfall we got in this year. At one point, it took us a few hours to, maneuver through it. The elk and moose,
It's step right over.
nothing.
Yeah, we were walking through it, and you could see their shit on the log and on the ground. It's like, what? How are you even walking through here?
Yeah, they just step right over it.
Yeah.
Go right on through like it's nothing. Like the deadfalls, they've gotten really terrible with, especially where you guys are at, the beetle kill.
Yeah.
The pine beetles came through up in southern Wyoming, same way.
Yeah.
You get in some of those areas, all it takes is a real good windstorm, and
Yeah.
Good luck getting through there.
I bet you.
That's what it looked like. Looked like the wind
Yeah, it
basically
is.
took them and pushed them all into on top of one
I
another.
bet you there was times where we were walking.
Add
I'm
snow in the
gonna tell
mix.
you 200 or 300 yards and never touch the ground on a tree the whole time.
Yeah.
It's
Go
like-
from one to the other, and,
Yeah.
and there's tracks all through it.
Yeah,
you know.
it's
And you're trying to figure out how did they get through there, and you're crawling from one deadfall to the next.
Yeah.
And then once you get in there and you've committed because you're going to make it through this because you know what's on the other side of there because you looked at it on OnX.
Yeah.
And an hour later, you're like, okay, I made it 250 yards. Fuck this, I'm going
Yeah.
back.
That's exactly what me and Brady did.
Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brady goes, "We need to get to this point for the evening. Set up here." We started, made it like maybe 100 yards inside, and I was like thinking about turning around, and he's like, "Oh, we better keep going. You know, it's only another 200 yards." Made it like another 75, and was
Yeah.
like,
No.
"No, hell with this. How we getting out?" And turned around and
Yeah, you'll
walk
be
back
in there
out.
for 3 days trying to get
Yeah,
in and out.
that's what we said. We're like, we're going to get back to where we need to be, whether we kill a bull or not. I was like, we're not getting out of here.
That's the cool thing about OnX. Like, I love the OnX. You know, before OnX, we had Google Maps or Google Earth, I guess. You know, you'd look at everything, trying to decipher what was private, what was public. I've had a couple of places where I had this hunt planned out to the T, going to get away from everybody, get back here, and you know, you've looked at it on Google Earth, OnX, you've blown it up, you've looked at it 50 different directions, you get there, and there's absolutely no fucking way you can walk
Yeah.
across that. You look at it, what you see on OnX and what you see in person, you're like, wow. I
And-
just wasted 6 months thinking I could go right through here.
Yeah, and it's so impressive, like how OnX. I mean, they got the recent imagery now. They got the exaggerated elevation. I mean, you can almost you think you know what you're looking at,
Yes.
but until you actually step foot there,
Yeah.
it's nothing like.
It's nothing like you'll find spots that you'll swear like there's going to be elk here, there's going to be deer here, this is going to be the honey hole, and you get there and you're like, seriously?
Yeah.
I need to really up my game on it. You know, like, and you can't blame them because they're just doing, you know, it's doing exactly what it is. You just don't know. You think you know what you're looking at.
Yeah. I think one of the funniest parts of Grandpa and his brother Floyd they pretty well sat in the same spot like all 8 days and just looked over this. You know, they could see a lot, and all they wanted to do was see a bunch of game anyways. And looked over this big like couple acre water hole, and there was these ducks that stayed on it every day, like same ducks. And there was this one there's two of them actually, but
there
there's
was
this
2 in there the morning I sat.
yeah, but me and him both sat with them that one morning, and they would come back to the cabin just laughing their ass off every time because the muskrat in this lake, like the duck would be sitting like 20 yards from the muskrat, it would chase it, and it literally, I swear to God, from sun up to sundown, this
It
muskrat
chased the ducks around the
all
whole
day.
time. They
Yeah,
come
it
back to
was-
camp talking about it, and me and Brady were like, you know, I'd have to see it to believe
Yeah.
it, you know.
And once you got down there and seen it, you're like,
Yeah.
It was sitting there, and Grandpa was like, "I'm telling you,
Yeah, he goes,
chasing
"We just
around
wait
all day
you know,
long."
as soon as the sun comes up," he's like, "You'll see it."
That was the whole. Whenever we hunted with him, it wasn't. You know, I hope we see an elk or something this morning. He's like, "I hope them ducks are back down there. That muskrat chasing them." And I'm like, "All right,
that muskrat swimming around screaming, get off my lawn.
I'm telling you."
I bet you that the muskrat, I had to swim miles in that water. I mean, it would get real close to the duck, like it was about to bite it or whatever the hell it was. It wasn't
don't
going to
know what
eat
it was doing.
but whatever it was trying to chase
it wasn't going to
off,
catch it. You know,
Yeah,
it got close, and the duck would basically,
fly 30 yards.
yeah, and then it would slowly swim over, and it would get till it got close again, and it was just repeated over and
Yeah,
over and over
all day for 8 days straight. It was so
Another one of
funny.
those things that
Yeah.
you know, if you always have things like that on elk hunts that just pass time. You know, those make the better memories of actually killing the bull. I think.
Yeah,
You know, but
no
and just
doubt.
the things that you get to see like that you wouldn't believe without
yeah,
seeing it for
unless
yourself.
You actually got
Yeah.
to see them.
That's kind of the reason we got into the whole videoing thing in the first place. Is there ain't a whole lot of people when you tell them, "Hey, there's a muskrat down here all day long, going to chase a duck around a hole of water," they're going to look at you like you're
Absolutely.
nuts.
Like I've said forever, like you guys videoing has been the coolest thing ever because there's so many things that you do get to see while you're out there hunting. And I've always wanted to video, but I mean, guys, let's be honest, I'm not electronically inclined. Technology has been my heel. When it comes to shooting, hunting, you know, mathematics, ballistics, all that, sure, I'm right there with the latest and the greatest. This stuff, no, guys, I do good. I'm still using an iPhone 8 for crying out loud, just
Yeah.
because
Yeah. I just had a 7 up until like a week ago.
Oh, well, okay, I don't feel so old now. I just refuse to spend the money on it because it's like, no, I like this. I know how this works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, you still got the home button.
oh, yeah, I still got the home button, man.
Oh, yeah.
And if it breaks, I'm screwed. I mean, but
No, they have a little thing on there now. You can, it's some kind of touch.
You got to go to like a 2-day class, and they teach you how to use the newest and latest.
that's probably what I would need, you know. I've had people make fun of me in, you know, state license committees, you know, when you're getting your CEUs to keep your state license. They say, well, you know, copy and paste this. And if anybody in here doesn't know how to copy and paste, then I'm the only idiot with my hand up because I.
So, Grandpa's brother Floyd, we go pheasant hunting with him every year, and fuck, we've gone so many different trips with him, and he's so old. You know, he's old school, old soul, and whenever we go somewhere, like we drove my truck to Colorado, and he's like, he calls AAA. Oh, I need a detailed map of the trip from, you know, Missouri to, you know, so and so Colorado. I need it all marked out on a map. Send me a paper map. It's like,
He'll have it all stretch across
Yeah.
the dash, you know, as far all the way over halfway in your space driving. And I'm like, Floyd, I'll pull this thing up and tell you the exact time we'll be there.
yeah.
You know,
I get it. It's like traveling with my dad. My dad's the same way. I'm like, hey Siri, you know.
Yeah.
And then like she'll tell us when we're gonna be there. Oh, hey, look, there he goes. You know, I'm surprised that actually worked because half the time when I try it, it doesn't work. You know, I'll be like,
it only works when you don't want it to.
always.
Yeah, but
always.
he's hilarious. Every time we go somewhere, he you know, he's does the most old school way of doing it, and which most of the time it's honestly better than the way we want to do it. But yeah, it's hilarious. He always calls. I'm pretty sure it's AAA or whoever he calls, and he tries to get a map every time we go somewhere. I'm like, no, we don't need a map.
I mean, that's cool though. I
But,
guess.
yeah, it's funny.
Well, this
dad.
year,
Well, I downloaded OnX for him this year, so now he's logged into my OnX.
oh, we were on our way home from Kansas, or yeah, pheasant hunting.
Yeah.
And he was driving. I plugged it into his truck, and he starts reading the road signs and stuff, and it's telling him the truck it's on his screen on his dash.
Right.
And it's like, you know, take a left. He kept driving straight, and I was like, you gonna turn? He keeps driving straight. So then we get up to the next one, and it's like, you know, it reroutes. It's like take a left and however many miles or whatever it gets close to it. He keeps driving straight again. He's like, well, I don't think that's the way. I'm like, what do you mean? It, you know, like
like
I'm
riding
telling
my
you, it
dad.
knows better. Well, I was reading the road sign, and it just didn't seem right. I'm like, all right. So we just
feel
keep
it.
going. I missed it 4 times, and finally I was like, I guess at least we're headed east, but are you going to ever turn?
Yeah.
He's like, boys, I don't know where the hell we're going, but we're just driving. I was like, all right. And then he was like, I thought you had it pulled up. I'm like, I do. It's right there for you, Floyd. Like it says,
Got a blue line.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it
colorblind.
warns you every, 1 mile, take a left. And he just kept going straight. Finally, he was like, well, I wanted to go this route. And I'm like, well, that's the route I had pulled up. We ended up having to turn around and go back like 5 miles, cut on some 2-lane roads, get all the way back north because he was all
Didn't feel
messed
right.
up.
He couldn't feel it in his bones, you know. I mean,
Oh yeah.
It was, and that's just part of the fun and memories, that
Oh,
we'll
absolutely.
remember. But
my dad still does the same thing. He'll want to know where I draw a tag this year, and he'll get out his Rand McNally Road Atlas and the National Forest maps, and he's finding where I'm at and where I'm going to be, and what peaks close. And it's just, I think he enjoys doing that more than actually going on the hunt anymore. I mean, like for him, I mean, you take a guy that's killed a 366 and a 324 bull.
Yeah.
He's 66, 67 years old. I mean, he's like, what's the point of me still going? He goes, I mean, I get all the elk I want to eat, that you bring home. He goes, and he when it comes to him, like, my dad's either going to kill a cow or he's going to kill a big bull. Nothing in between.
Yeah.
He just wants one to eat when it comes to elk. Now, pronghorn, he was always a trophy hunter. I mean, it was a huge one or nothing. And he could always kill a big one. But, like, I would say there's been you asked earlier, like, the decline. Pronghorn especially have taken a really big hit the last 10, 15 years. Just tag numbers have went up, property access, winter kill. I mean, like when he first started hunting, gosh, it's been a long time ago. Out there, he had the glory days of it and probably didn't even realize it.
Yeah.
he hunted a lot of private ground for pronghorn, just with knowing the right people, knowing friends. Well, yeah, come on over, ain't no big deal. Well, yeah, you sure you want to hunt here? It'll take 2 years for you to draw a tag here. Well, I
Probably
guess,
20 years now.
give or take, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of it. Well, like take the unit I was originally saving all my points for elk is one of the places he hunted, private. That's where he killed his 360 bull.
Yeah.
It took about 5 to 6 points, and it's 16 points now.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting at 9. It's probably never going to happen. I'm probably going to have to burn them on something else, or be like, hey, who wants to go elk hunting with me?
Yeah.
We're going to get a general tag, and we're going to bust these points up. You know what I mean?
That's Grandpa tells. Well, I mean, we just sit down, and start bullshitting with Grandpa, and he'll tell us about back when he went out west. Same thing. Whatever. He's a little older than your dad, but hell, he used to tell us about antelope hunting, and whenever they were elk hunting out there, everything was over the counter, and they were hunting, Gunnison and all these big, these big places now that are, 12 plus point units, and it's,
We've talked about hunting Gunnison before. Him and I have, and I hunted Gunnison for deer in like 2019. I bought a voucher. Let's luck of the draw, found one left over. Guy I knew, somebody I'd made friends with, in the last 20 years out there. He just called me up out of nowhere. Said, hey, I got a second season deer tag left over. I was like, really? I said, what do you want for it? He said $1,500, and I about fell over because they were $7,500 at that point. So
I'm on my way.
that's pretty much
Count
what I
me
told him.
in.
That's pretty much what I told him. I had just gotten back from Wyoming. I don't know. I've been back maybe 5 or 6 days. And this was random. I was out feeding cattle, and I was like, "Well, what's Bert want?" I ain't talked to Bert in 2 years. And he goes, "I just figured you might want it." So I took it, and that unit was 15 years ago. When you didn't take nothing. I say didn't take anything to draw it. It took 6, 7 years, 5 years to draw. It was phenomenal. Man, I hunted 4 days in some of the nastiest country ever was to kill a super old buck, but I never did see the quality what I thought would be there.
Was in there.
And that's a very big misbelief
Really?
out west. Just people think, and it's actually hurt a lot of genetics in units as well, because you take guys that's waited 20 years for an elk tag. They're going to kill an elk on that hunt.
Yeah.
And instead of killing something like, say, like a super huge 5-point, they want a 6-point. They'll kill a 3-year-old 6-point bull. Yeah. Just because it's not necessarily elk is as bad, but deer especially.
Yeah.
Like a lot of your western units in western Colorado are really high demand. Take 10 to some of them would take 30 years to draw.
Yeah.
People say you spend 15 years to draw this tag. You get out there and say we go together and we find a humongous 3-point. I mean, age class is there, huge deer. He's not going to score 170.
Right.
But everybody wants that 4-point, 170, 180. They're pretty, but they'll sacrifice killing a mature deer that has seen more winters, survived more, to kill a 3 or a 4-year-old 4-point that's 23, 24 inches wide. It's a nice deer, but he's never going to make his potential because they won't take this old warrior out. And me, myself, would have, you guys have seen it. I've got I think it's a 144 2-point mounted.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I killed it in Wyoming. Ridiculous. I mean, I did not go, and I spent 9 points to draw that tag. I'm going to tell you guys, I did not go to that unit in Wyoming to kill a big 2-point.
Right.
But after a couple of days of looking, I saw big 2s, big 3s, and a bunch of small 4s, and all I could find was huge deer, big framey, but just no genetics. That's still my proudest buck today. Yeah, because it's the oldest deer I've ever killed, or close to. Yeah, I had to really work at it, and I put into it. You waited all these years, but to me, that unique looking deer or that unique looking bull over with that age class, because you really got all your worth out of that hunt just to pull over and go, oh yeah, I killed this one. Right. I know a guy that waited 21 years for a trophy unit in Colorado, never elk hunted in between, never went, just
no experience,
zero. Yeah. That's like going to the Super Bowl, especially going to a true trophy unit. Yeah, it's like going to the Super Bowl and never playing football. That's not even warm.
Yeah, up. You're gonna get fucking curb stomped.
I mean, it was bad. I mean, he went first rifle, at one of the highly coveted tags in Colorado. I think he saw 3 elk. He saw 3 elk in a unit that just goes to show you, just because it's a great unit and they kill huge bulls
Yep.
doesn't mean that they're going to be running around every corner.
Yeah,
They're not going to be.
Do you know Devin Leonard owns Hunter's Box Club? You would probably know him if you've seen a picture of him. Big Western Utah hunter. I think he hunts I'm a butcher it, but like the Wasatch Front or something in Utah.
Wasatch.
And he talks about it all the time. Like, I think he's killed 5 or 6 deer over 230 or like giant muleys. And he says all the time, he's like, the only reason, like, not the only reason, but the main reason, like, I can kill these is because I live there. He's like,
Yes.
if you waited all the time to draw the tag and you came out to hunt that, he's like, you'd walk into that front where I hunt and he'd be like, you'd sit there and be like, well, this sucks. This, what's all the hype about? This sucks. He's like, unless you live there and like, he eat, breathes, and sleeps it, and he knows where they're at and stuff. But he's like, otherwise, fuck. He's like, you're gonna walk in there and sit on your thumb because you just.
I think there's too many people that see it from YouTube or
Absolutely
just social media alone that they think it's easy. They see someone go in there, kill a big deer. Oh, that must be a good unit. They don't see all the work. I mean, we don't necessarily always post all the work, or others don't post all the work and the scouting and all the time they put into actually killing a trophy.
They just see the aftermath, or the little bit of the hunt goes into it. People, it's hard to show all the work that goes into, say, a 15, 20-minute video.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not even making the videos. You guys are making the videos. I'm just a guy running around on a mountain, with a tag in my pocket, just hoping to get lucky. You guys are actually doing the extra work to bring the entertainment value with it and going full circle. A lot of people are they think it should just be easy, or like entitlement to, so to speak. There's nothing easy about it, and it just goes to show you, like New Mexico, the unit I hunt, it comes with the time. I've met locals there. If I don't draw that tag, I've only ever drawn that tag one time. It's less than 5% chance, but I've found some locals that they've received vouchers through the draw. I buy them from them. Yeah, you can buy something real nice with that. I mean, I could take my wife on probably 2 nice vacations, but it's.
Hopefully, she don't listen to this.
She already knows. She already knows. Yeah, she already knows. She goes. That's why she's all about going too. And I don't know. I've hunted it several times, and I killed a 316 bull there this year. It's my personal best. And a 300-inch bull. There's a lot of elk. I mean, it's just like 140-inch deer, whitetails. They get sold off for way bigger than they actually are.
Yeah.
Not even close. And like I said earlier, he's one of my best friends in the whole world. He lives in Ojo Caliente, and I talk to him 2 or 3 times a week just about nothing. His daughter has the biggest bull of all of us. I think Mike's like 63 now, 62. She's killed the biggest bull of all of us, and it came from a crap unit across the road, and it's a 340 bull. And it came from a unit that just
is disregarded.
Highly. It's known as a joke. I've actually killed a bull in that unit. I bought a voucher there a few years ago just for when everything started going up, I said, I'm not giving that for that unit. I'll go over here across the road. And I was humbled. I mean, I killed a bull, but he wasn't very big. It was actually my smallest bull ever. And, literally just 2 miles down the road, she killed that 340. And this winter, they found a 400 bull in there so far.
Oh, man.
I'm still waiting for pictures of it. They didn't kill it, of course.
Right.
The season's closed, but, they're...
peckerheads will be in there.
Yeah.
That's my bull.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. And where this bull is, what they showed me, or they told me where it is a place you'd look at it, you'd think there's nothing but pronghorn there. Like rattlesnakes, back to that. That was the unit, that area. I've seen my biggest rattlesnake I've ever seen in my life. I mean, we wouldn't run over it. And you guys know me, if anybody knows me, there's not much I won't do, at least one time. I would not run over that rattlesnake with my razor with steel doors on it, for the fact that and I'm not scared of snakes. I'm really not scared of snakes. But that one, I mean, a 2-track for your razor run-on is, 10 foot wide, give or take. He stretched all the way across the road. This rattlesnake, I got pictures. I think if I don't, I'll have to get a hold of Jeremy, because I know he has them.
Oh, my.
He would not. We didn't even get out and kill this thing. We had 2 pistols. Both of us had a pistol, and it was like, you know what? That guy has lived this long. He's made it that big. you just go about your way, dude.
Yeah.
He just finally slithered off, and we showed pictures to my buddy Mike back, and his reaction, just his initial reaction, was like, "Oh, yeah, no." I'm like, he's like, "I ain't going back in there." I'm like, "Oh, is that a big one?" He's like, "Man, that's the biggest one I've ever seen," and he's lived there his entire life.
Oh my.
Like, yeah, no. So I mean, it comes with its odds. A lot of people think you have to be on a mountain to hunt elk. I actually hate going up super high to hunt elk.
Yeah. I was gonna say I see a lot of New Mexico, popped off here, whatever, call it 8 or 10 years ago. It seemed like everyone switched from wherever they were hunting in New Mexico, and New Mexico became like the new biggest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all you heard about was New Mexico, New Mexico, New Mexico.
Oh, I know. Trust me, it's made it harder for me to get tags.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just driven like my vouchers. Like I usually get 2 every year, one for me and one for somebody else that wants to go. And I can remember being your guys' age and could afford these vouchers. You could buy the voucher now that cost $7,500 for $1,500. But the money difference was quite a bit different then, because $1,500 would go a lot farther then too. And it was like, man, I'm not paying that to go hunt there. That's stupid. I'll just draw it. I thought I had nothing but time. And I look back and I wish now I would have bought a voucher every year and hunted. Let's just throw some names out there like the Gila. I could have bought vouchers for the Gila for $2,500 and never even thought twice about it. And I'll probably never draw any. Like there's 5 units to the Gila, and any one of those units are great. Any one of them are great, and. Gila, that's one everybody knows.
Yeah.
That's another, classic case in point where you go there. You could go hunt. New Mexico only has 5-day seasons for elk across the board. They are extremely. The reason that New Mexico is so good, in my opinion, is they manage it extremely well.
Yeah.
5-day seasons. They don't care if the season falls here. They don't care if you kill anything or not. They care about their elk herd. They care about their. I say their deer herd to a point. New Mexico's not known for deer like it is elk, but they really take care of their wildlife. They like especially their timber, their firefighters. Like when there's not an active fire, Western firefighters. That's quite a big different deal from here. Western firefighters. Those guys are tough.
Oh shit!
I mean, they get up every morning, put their gear on and go climb a mountain to go thin timber.
Yeah.
Colorado, they don't do it as much. Wyoming, they don't do it as much. New Mexico stays on point with it. They don't have the wildfires out there either. And they say, well, it's a different state. Yeah, it's drier. And they still don't have as many wildfires.
Yeah.
I mean, they do, but they contain them easier. Like where we went this year, there was a fire about, 45, 50 days before we got there. I mean,
really?
Right in, within a half mile of. I was like, well, we'll see how this one works. It could just, screw everything up. You couldn't even tell it went through there. I mean, you could see a little black on some trees, but there wasn't anything for it to burn because they had it. They keep it under control. But
you've hunted some burned areas before, I believe, because I think you sent me some pictures.
I love burn areas.
Yeah,
that's my favorite. If I can hunt anywhere, I would probably pick a burn area.
Really?
About 7,000 to 9,000 feet. That's my go-to.
Why is that? Just new vegetation coming up, or
new vegetation? Well, you have new vegetation. I know it sounds weird, but like I've killed several elk and deer in burn areas, and they live in it. They're covered in it, like ash. They roll in it. Like as you guys know here, like turkey hunting. Turkeys, they like to roll in an ash pile.
Yep.
Burn piles.
Yeah,
burn fields are some of the best turkey hunting.
Oh my gosh, crazy! That's a whole nother podcast there.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's that.
I'm gonna have to talk about that on another time.
That'd have to be another time. But I just love burn areas. Like for one, it has new vegetation. The first few years, I don't know how long it goes, but I do know that they will get salt out of the burnt trees.
Really?
They'll lick them to an extent. Don't quote me on how far that goes. Because I've seen them do it, and I've had biologists tell me that that's what they were doing. I just figured it may be something with the taste. You know what I mean? I think it was in 18 I killed a deer in Wyoming in a burn area, and it was a very fresh burn. I mean, there was new vegetation, but it was probably a 2-year-old burn, and it was what I call a roach. I mean, it was like it just blazed it off. Like
Scalded everything.
And killed one of my best muleys in there, or best framed muleys on just a general tag.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think I remember that because there was still smoke. it was still smoky in the air, wasn't it?
That was the year after.
The year, yeah, I was gonna say. I
That was when
remember
all the wildfires were going
Yeah,
on.
I remember getting pictures that one year, and hell, it was hazy out there
Yeah,
everywhere.
that year was terrible. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I think that was 2020.
Yeah, probably would have been.
We COVID. We all drew some really good tags that year. We got in there, and it was that is my favorite mule deer area to hunt. It is Wyoming. It's not a great. I mean, it's a limited quota,
Yeah,
but it takes 3 to 4 years. I killed a 160 muley in there. Like I said, nothing huge, but I just like the area.
Yeah.
And that's what I've really grown with over the years. Is I love exploring new country, finding new units to hunt. But when you go back to the same units over and over and over again, you really kind of start to figure them out. But after a little bit, you kind of get burnt out on them because they just like here, they go up, they go down. Like our whitetails here, we'll have 3 or 4 really good years in a row. We'll have great genetics, and all of a sudden, you can't find anything. It's the same way out there.
What would you say your dream hunt would be? Like if whether it's whatever guided, do it yourself, whatever, you going Alaska or still Western game?
I'd be a coin toss. It'd probably be I don't think I'm in good enough shape for sheep anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I say I don't think I'm good enough shape for sheep shape anymore. I see a lot of guys on YouTube. It's like I know I can outrun that motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I know I can destroy that guy. I mean, like he's got 20 years on him. He ain't got no steel in him or anything.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, it would probably either be bighorns in the United States, maybe Old Mexico for a bighorn, or moose, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's a loaded question to ask a guy like me. I've got way too much ADD to
Want to do it all.
to funnel it all down into one. If I had to pick one, though, I'm gonna say a contender on the very top of the list would be an Old Mexico high rack mule deer hunt for a 200-inch deer. That would probably be. It'd be at the very top.
Yeah.
It'd be a coin toss.
Man, that's how I am. There's so many things out there that I want to do and chase, and if you were to ask me, I couldn't pick.
Yeah, that's just it. I mean, you'd have to tell me like, okay, you're gonna die the day after this is over. So pick. It'd be
choose wisely.
Yeah, I mean that's like sticking one bullet in a revolver cylinder and spinning it. Like start clicking, see which one. Because I just love hunting out west. I just the whole process from working hard here all year long just to be able to go do it. As you guys know, I work a lot of Saturdays, a lot of Sundays.
Yeah.
Work.
Go hard in the summer just to make up time for.
Yeah, go all. You guys do the same thing.
Yeah.
You guys put in the midnight hour.
Yeah.
Work.
You got to burn the midnight oil to be able to do. Everyone just sees it as, oh, you guys take off. You guys are lucky. You guys take off. You get to go hunting whenever. They don't see the work that.
Yeah,
14, 15-hour days in the summer just to be able to take off every Friday or, a random Tuesday or Wednesday to go hunt whenever a cold front comes through.
You guys got 50 hours in this week, and you only worked, Monday through Wednesday.
Yeah.
To be able to go do the rest of
Right.
Yeah.
It's putting in that extra bit of effort to get.
And when we're gone, same for you. No work's getting done. I don't have just take off, and when I come back in 2 weeks, I'll just have
piled up.
Yeah, it's not only the 2 weeks I was gone, but the 2 weeks that I'm working again. It's like putting 4 weeks into 2 weeks. So
as you guys have figured out, especially with the multiple trips and the multiple seasons, being into all of it, it's like, okay, so we're gonna go spend 10 days here. You got to figure out after you get back how to get that 10 days worth of work done.
Yep.
With the other 10 days worth of work you're gonna do to get caught up, just to get back to even, and you're not even ahead, and you're leaving again in 5 more days to go somewhere else. And I don't think people understand the pressure that goes into all that.
No doubt.
Is it a curse to have? I guess it's a great curse to have.
Yeah.
Like this year I had drew New Mexico twice, deer and elk. I'm getting ready to go on deer. Drew Colorado, deer and elk. And that was on the same trip, but most of October I was gone, and I get back. And then take this year on top of it, I tore my bicep while I was gone, had surgery, November 8th. So I've set out, since November 8th doing nothing.
go stir crazy doing
Oh,
that.
I'm so far behind. It's not crazy. Now, I'm a bookwork and my taxes are actually done for a change.
Really?
For the first time.
That's the first time ever.
all the fun stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
first time ever, and like, people don't see, like, you guys are up late, working, and everything that goes into it. Like, this is a secondary
Yeah.
fun thing. Like for me, it's same way. I'm just at it. I've always said I wanted to film, just wear a GoPro just to show the circus it turns into.
Oh yeah.
Like if you could wear, like, you see people like put a GoPro on their cat or something for the day, to see what their cat does. It's like, if you put a GoPro on you for the day, just to see what you guys do, to be able to go, do the rest of it, people quit watching.
Oh
Put
yeah.
a GoPro on Dale for the day.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, you don't want to do that. No, that'd be terrible.
There's a lot of people that tell me all the time, "Oh, you need to slow down." I don't.
I hear that too.
You need to stop, go, and it's like, I just, for the love of it, and that's what I got to do to be able to get out and
Yeah.
be able to hunt.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's times we've worked 12 hours and then we'll turn around and be like, all right, we're gonna drive 4 hours to Iowa tonight just to be able to not sleep at all, duck hunt in the morning.
Yeah, get to Iowa.
I do the same thing, and I'm not even a waterfowl hunter like you
Yeah.
guys are. Like someone will, like my buddy, Shane will just say, "Hey, you want to go goose hunting in the morning?" Well, man, I just worked 13 hours. Yeah, I'll get up at 2 to go lay out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not even a waterfowl hunter like you guys are. I don't even, I'm just like, yeah, sure, I'll go do that. And that's just the drive for hunting. So
Yeah.
you put like your guys' drive, like you guys have a big drive for waterfowl. Birds. I mean, I bird hunt some, but not like, I just go for the camaraderie with the other
Yeah.
guys.
I think that's kind of, it gives us a reason too to stay off our farms before deer shed and everything here. And I'm the guy that I can't just sit at home and
I can't either.
twiddle my thumbs. Like, if there's something to do or there's a hunt lined up or a buddy calls and said, "Hey, in the morning it's going to be a banger,"
Yep.
I'm going to find a way to make it happen.
Move your shit out of the way because we're going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I was married. I've been married twice. First time wasn't all that great. Many moons ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was single for like 16 years, and everybody's. I said I'll never get remarried unless I find somebody that wanted to,
Yeah.
share the same lifestyle with me. My wife had never really. She'd never hunted prior to that. She shot a gun a little bit. Her dad deer,
Yeah.
and her dad hunted. Fished, whatnot. They camped growing up. I have created the biggest monster I've ever created now. I have to have 2 of everything. I mean, all the way down, like whitetail hunting. Anymore for me to whitetail hunt during the rifle season, I still take a gun.
Yeah.
Just for the fact that, you never know. We actually doubled up a couple of years ago.
Right.
It can't happen. But, no, I've created a monster that allows me to do that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Not a bad thing.
no,
Not
I
a
mean,
bad thing.
it's they're few and far between, boys. I'll just tell you. I
Oh,
mean,
no doubt. I'm telling you, I'm not married by no means. I mean,
It's a tough world out there.
got a long time girlfriend, but it puts some serious strain on a relationship being like as passionate about hunting. I mean,
serious.
yeah, you got to have a strong-willed woman to stick around when it comes to, having the drive and passion that we do for filming and hunting.
And the way I see it, though, too, the good Lord makes girls for guys like us. You just spend your time doing your thing, and she'll come along when
Yeah.
it's right.
Absolutely.
It happened for me that way. I mean, I've had a couple that, everybody said was the one, and I'm like, no. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, I'm leaving in about a week to go elk hunting again. They're like, again? I'm like, oh, you too. You have the same mentality she
Yeah.
had. You can get the fuck away from me too.
Get out, bitch.
Yeah, it's kind of just exactly how it works. I mean, it's just like if you're not all in, then get lost. It's like if I call you up and say, I just got this opportunity to buy this elk tag, and you're not just as excited as I am, then fuck you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah, no
But-
doubt.
in turn, you got to be that way, the same way they don't get excited, to the extent of you do. Let's say it's shoes for them. You still might want to show a little enthusiasm
Oh, yeah.
into their shoes.
Oh yeah.
'Cause
Hey,
they're-
I just bought my 10th pair of shoes this year.
exactly.
Yeah. Oh good. Good.
You're like, damn, baby, go, 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 go.
When in our head we're like,
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, well, that's we're building a new house right now, so I've made a compromise. I actually sized down the living
Really?
quarters. I say size down, made it smaller, went 2-story for her, and I made the deal that I would put the majority of my heads out in the shop. Just
Little man cave shop.
yeah, I mean, I initially have to work out of there, but
Yeah.
who am I going to lie? Most of my equipment sits outside anyway. You
Yeah.
guys have seen my shit. It looks like a construction site threw up out there, and got the shit sitting
I
everywhere.
think they just now got it picked up from the old barn.
Probably. It's everybody's like, wow, how does this happen? I'm like, you ever do anything in life? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, no, not to this extent. You don't.
Yeah, no, we have people come through the shop all the time. They come in the shop and they're like, "Oh my God, this shop's a mess. Why don't you clean it?"
Yeah.
It's like,
I know where everything's at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come down here tomorrow and try to clean it.
Yeah. Try and clean it while we're working.
you clean it tomorrow and it's going to look like that the next day. Like,
I
it
get
doesn't
it.
matter.
I get it.
Yeah.
I'm like, like there's 3 of us that work together, and we did $12 million worth of excavation last year.
Really?
There's a lot of shit left over. I don't
Yeah.
know what you want me to do with it. I drag it home with me, and it's up
Yeah.
in between. If you don't want to look at it, go somewhere else.
Yeah.
My wife, she used to not be as keen of looking at all that stuff, and then she finds out, oh, that's worth money, and you can use it on the next job, and it's paid for. Keep it here, baby. Just
Yeah.
keep it here.
Bring
More
that
shoes.
shit home.
Load it.
More shoes. Bring it on home. Oh, you mean that old junk water line, that steel water line? You can haul that off for scrap, and I can have that? Absolutely. You bring it home, baby.
Yeah.
It's a trade-off.
Pile it up.
You just got to trade it off. You just got to know where it's at. You got to know your worth.
Absolutely. That bull you killed this year, you said it was hitting the main beam. Did it shatter it?
It didn't take it off. I don't know how. I did find out. And that's something that I don't have an issue with, period. But from the range that they claim that they shot from, the one was keep saying Peckerhead, was shooting a 308, and the other one was shooting a 7mm 08. It was way out of the effective
Yeah.
range for what they were
Yeah.
hoping for. And I never did quite understand that whole 9 yards. But had it not been, it was a 308 or a 7mm 08, one of the two that hit the horn. Had it, I want to say it was a 7mm 08 that actually made the contact with it. Had it not been something smaller, it would have just took it right off.
So was the bullet lodged into the beam actually, or did it graze
It
it?
took a chunk out of it.
Oh, it took a chunk
Yeah,
out.
it took a chunk out of it. Actually, luckily, it took it out of it on the top side. So it didn't. It still had the backbone underneath. Had it been on the bottom side, I think it would have just snapped clean off. I mean,
That's a hell of a story, though. As unfortunate as it was, pretty cool, I guess, memory that will ever forever be.
You'll never forget it. I mean, I will say this: it was probably the best I ever held my emotions in a time of where
Yeah.
I
wanted to throw them both off that fucking mountain,
Walk,
chase them down, stomping.
walk into the taxidermy shop and he's like, "Boy, you need to learn how to shoot your gun."
Oh my gosh, I have heard that, because if you look at the picture,
Yeah, when you
Yeah.
sent me the picture,
Yeah.
I was like, "Did you shoot in the head? It's got this big hole." I mean,
yeah, right down the side of his face. I mean, ruined the cape. I
Yeah.
mean, it could have been saved and made. I don't know. I mean, I'm getting really bad. I haven't mounted anything in a very long time.
Yeah.
Actually, the last thing I mounted a deer for my son, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. A good whitetail, and I mounted a full velvet muley from Wyoming. But after that, I haven't. As you boys know, it takes a lot of space to hang stuff,
Oh,
It
yeah.
does.
You just European mount.
pretty much.
I have to get him with the old Grok saw.
You got some in there.
I know. Skull hangers.
I thought maybe that's why you tore your bicep, is you grabbed both of them clowns and
I'd
whirled them around.
like to. Yeah, that was kind of made contact with one of them. They decided they didn't want any more of it, and they decided they'd leave.
Yeah.
And then they got the whole hunter harassment. They found out that that's actually a thing. I guess it's going to be quite a big thing down there.
Oh yeah, I know guys in. I can't say it was in Iowa, but bird hunting, and yeah, people come out bitching at them and stuff, and they'll call and they'll write them a ticket.
Yeah, and that's what actually got them in trouble. They said, "Well, we're a hunter too." They said, "Well, it doesn't
Yeah.
make it okay.
Yeah.
You can't
No.
go harass other people,
Right,
in
yeah.
general, because if I walk up to you guys that say in Walmart or just on the street and I start harassing you about nothing, eventually you're going to have enough of my shit and you're going to hit me in the mouth or you're going to shoot me, or you know what I mean,
Yeah.
depending on the situation, how it's all going to go down, or the cops are going to be called or
Right.
something. You can't just go harass people for
Yeah.
no reason. I mean, that, like, what I don't understand about that whole situation, people will be very quick to give up an animal like that, but people will hang on to their wore out iPhone 8 there. and not give it up. They'll fight to the death
Yeah.
for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
But like, where did the mentality come from that got these people to think, if we just go put pressure on them, they'll give it up?
And had you not had a camera, they would have been like, "Oh, yeah, that's yours."
Yeah.
Yeah, another
Yeah.
reason
Here's-
back
here's-
to video.
Yeah.
Yeah. if I'd have
Video
been
and
Here's my
videoing,
proof.
It'd have been over just like
Here's
that.
all 5 shots that I put in.
Right.
Exactly. I mean, I just flat out told them. I mean, I missed twice. First time, I mean, guys, I'm not gonna lie. I do burpees all year long, and then jump on my gun and shoot offhand to 400 yards. It's something we do. It's not saying we take shots like that. It's just to condition yourself.
Yeah, get yourself
training
ready
under
for that.
pressure in,
exactly
in the
for
moment.
The altitude, you're out of breath. You're
Yeah.
you're shaky. You're all over the place to really bring it down.
It's like training with your bow at 100 yards. We don't plan to shoot 100 yards, but
Exactly.
when you come into 50 yards,
Oh, it feels like you're
it's
shooting
like a chip
20.
shot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's top
Like a
10.
chip shot.
Everything comes, that's like why I shoot to 1,300, and I would shoot farther than that if I could shoot farther than that. We just physically don't have a place right now.
Yeah, right.
And am I ever going to shoot at anything that far hunting?
No.
I doubt it. I got humbled pretty bad last year. Excuse me. I shot at a buck 5 times in Colorado. Huge 3-point. And had like half the camp watching me down below. Missed him 5 times. It was 5, maybe 6. It was terrible. I mean, guys, I was laying prone. I mean, set. And I had my buddies on my phone, on speakerphone, laying next to me. And I'm laying on the mountainside shooting. And they're like, just under him. I'm like, what in the fuck is going on here? I mean, it was, if I remember right, I ranged it at 612. And like you said,
Yeah.
I consider that a chip shot for the position and everything I was in. I mean, was I excited? Absolutely. I mean, it was a really good deer. Was it the biggest deer I'd ever shot at? No, not even close. But you know what I mean? But
Right.
man, I just could not put it together, and I could not figure out why. I was like, man, we're done. You know,
Right.
I mean, did I have more ammo? Absolutely, but I'm going to melt a rifle barrel down, trying
Yeah.
to kill this thing. And if I haven't got that close for as much as I've shot, something's
Something's wrong.
Something's wrong.
Yeah.
something's wrong. And the last thing I want to do then is they're like, just hold high. I'm like, no. Something, 'cause
Yeah.
you start doing that, you wind up with a pawn shot deer.
Yeah.
My rangefinder was actually picking up willows,
Oh, yeah.
and he was 720.
Hmm.
I did the math; it was 23 inches difference in your
Oh, my.
arch. So no wonder I was shooting right between his legs the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have the rangefinder where it automatically calculates a dot in your scope, or do you range find and then move your mil dots?
I adjust on the fly.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't have. So I've got 2 rangefinders, and I've got a whole pile of garbage, but I've got 2 that give you MOA or your mil readings.
Yeah.
You just pre-program it, or in my rangefinder binoculars, they do the same thing. I don't run my Kestrel paired to
Yeah.
it, so because today I might be using a 338 rum. Tomorrow I might be using a 300 rum or
Right.
300 PRC or a 301 mag, or
Right.
depending on where I'm going, I always take 3 rifles. People think I'm nuts, but I've screwed up a couple of them on the hunt.
Oh, when you get into your Western trips and things, the last thing you want to do is get out there and
Equipment failure.
yep. And then if you only brought the one rifle,
That's all you got.
Yeah, you're back to
It happened to me this year.
either hoping you got a bayonet or a sharp stick. 'cause
Yeah, exactly.
You
Maybe
ain't getting nowhere.
find a rock to throw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my gun when you shot it here was off 12 inches.
Yeah. We come back
Yeah,
to Colorado.
This is a goofy ass story. We met up. It was getting dark. We were meeting back up with my uncle and our cousin, and met up with them. They were watching mule deer, so we were sitting watching mule deer. And have you ever heard of the Phoenix lights? They are the brightest fucking lights you can buy on the market. I swear to God, they're so bright. And I had it in my backpack where I strapped it around my waist. I had it in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I kept smelling something. I'm like, what? Something's fucking burning. I kept
I know where
smelling,
you're going with
I kept
this.
smelling something burning. I'm like, what is burning? Well, finally, I had my arms down at my side because I had my binos up, and I put my arms down, put it in my bino harness, put my arms down, and I kind of started feeling it. I was like, all at once, Landon and Shane and Gavin, our cousin, were all sitting there, and I was like, I looked down, and my backpack was on fire because the light got so hot in there.
I've never seen a backpack, a gun, everything fly off so quick. I'm on fire. I'm on fire. And I'm like, what? We're all looking at each other like,
Yeah. I
how
was like-
can
How's this even happen?
yeah? How
Yeah, I
can it be
kept-
on fire?
I kept saying, I'm on fire. And they were like, what is going on? What's going on?
Looking
And I,
at you like you're a moron.
yeah,
like,
and I pulled it out, and it melted my whole pocket on my
Yeah,
back.
there's
I believe it.
Yeah.
On your camera bag?
No, on my I had a Alps Western frame pack on, and it melted.
I
got
borrowed,
hot.
what was that, 2 or 3 years ago, I borrowed a light similar to that from my buddy in Colorado. Killed a bull. Actually, it's in the same place I was shooting at that deer I was just telling you about. Killed it across the canyon. And it's oak brush in there. So, when something goes down in that oak brush, it can just be a nightmare to try and find back. Pinpoint. I mean, you know how far it is, so you think you know. You think you can walk a straight line to it. As you guys know, it's not happening.
Right.
I mean, sometimes, So I left my gun in the tripod with my scope focused on where it was, and I walked my buddies in there to it. And they found him, so I just left my gun in the tripod. I know exactly where it's at. Like a dummy. I mean, we've hunted here forever. I know this place. Yeah, wrong.
Yeah.
Take off over there, get over there, get the bull broke down, get him hung up in the oak brush just for the night because, we ain't going to take horses in there that night or even mess with packing him out. Calling for a huge snowstorm that night. I'm like, okay, now I'm not leaving my gun. I cannot find my gun. I cannot find my gun anywhere. Yeah, nowhere.
That's when you drop a pin on Onyx.
It was a hard lesson learned. I should have, but I didn't.
Definitely smart idea though, because when you're shooting distance and stuff, there's a lot of people that shoot, think they see where it went down.
Exactly.
But the terrain is so different when you get
Over there, you're not even close.
No.
You might think you're there, and you might be 300 yards from.
Oh shoot! Even take here. I know people who shoot deer at 30. Fuck, not even 30, 20 yards with a bow, and they can't even tell you where they hit it nor what direction it ran.
Or where it was standing.
They fucking black.
think
They
they know
black
where it's
out.
going. Yeah.
I mean,
I did it on a bull a couple of years ago. New Mexico. Shot him like 12 minutes after legal shooting light. They're like, I'd actually, it was funny, like the day before we had this conversation, like up until that point, I had never really killed anything good on opening day. Like it's never my day, I'm not even talking just, besides turkeys, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
never really killed anything. Never killed a big buck, big whitetail, big mule deer, nothing on opening day. Like 12, 15 minutes after legal shooting light, I smoked that bull for something. And by the time I got over to where I thought he was, I couldn't find anything. It took me 2 hours to find a bull that I dropped in his tracks. That it sounds stupid, but and it was wide open. Like I called my buddy. I was like, man, I just can't find him. He's like, well, keep looking. And he's there. And sure enough, there he laid, like 100 yards farther down the hill. And I'm like, this is so stupid. So when I shot that one, I'm like, all right, I'm leaving my gun in this tripod locked in, so that way until they get walked in there. And what I should have done was just pull it out, took it with me, left the tripod, went back and got it in the morning. If it snowed, whoop-de-doo. No, I got my buddy Mike's flashlight out, and dude, I lit a fire with that flashlight.
And you never found it?
No, I found my gun back.
Oh, I was saying,
if
someone
it
just
hadn't been
walking
for
over
that-
the hill.
yeah,
Oh,
no.
there's a gun.
If it hadn't been for that flashlight, I would have never, ever, ever found that gun back that night. There's no way. And that was correct me if I'm wrong, 20,000 lumen?
probably.
Like,
Yeah, that sounds.
I was going to
pretty-
say that. I think that's
I
what
don't
them
know what
Phoenix
that-
lights are about.
this was a night core. When you turn it on, it gets so hot you couldn't hold it in your hand on that on that highest setting. You couldn't hold it, but I mean, it was insane.
My truck lights are 14,000.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they're bright.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what they are on my Razor. I got like 2 LED light bars on it. I thought, man, this would be cool. You can really spotlight out in the desert. No, you can't see 12 feet past the end of it in the dark.
Yeah.
It's just too bright,
I did the same thing this year. Me and Brady were deer hunting. I told him, I was like, I'm always like a last day luck guy.
Mm-hmm.
Never killed anything first day other than turkeys. I mean,
Yeah.
we thump on some turkeys opening day all season long, but we were sitting there and I'm like, man, we had this deer pattern fairly well, and I just never killed anything opening day or weekend, I don't believe. Sitting there that morning, first deer I saw, like 7:30, walks up over the hill, boom.
Crazy how it happens.
Done.
It doesn't feel right when you're not that person. When you see it, you're like, this isn't. It's like I shouldn't say I don't get excited. It just doesn't feel.
Yeah, no, I didn't know how to act. I was like,
Oh, it was the weirdest thing.
yeah, and then after you know,
You're like,
I'm
well, this is over now.
yeah,
There
I'm
was-
tagged out. We get him. I'm like,
The way it happened too, there's almost a part of me that knew it was that the deer that he killed. We heard it coming up in front of us, and you could just hear it. You know, we were sitting big white oak saddle, and you could just hear it. And part of me, like in my head, I was like, I already know what deer this is coming up over this hill. And sure shit, it comes up over the hill, and I was like, yeah, there's the Fawn 9. Dead.
I gave him like 3 seconds. The video's pretty rough because I tell Brady, I'm like, you want my boom, you know?
Yeah, I literally, we had the one camera over top of him, and I hear the deer take like 3 steps. I hear, I'm like, all right, well, it's got, 40, 50 yards to go before it comes up to the top of the hill and we can see it. So I reach up, flip the camera on, grab the other camera, haven't even turned it on yet, and he goes, you ready? Boom! And I'm like, oh, okay, yep.
Oh,
I didn't give
You
him no
could-
time.
It was
But
a tough
the
situation. You
area,
couldn't
the
wait.
area we were in, it basically these big ravines, and you can go over the hill real quick and end up in the next ravine
Yeah.
in a snap of a finger, especially deer. And it's thick enough in there. And when we knew and we've only had 2 encounters with that deer in 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years.
You know, I wasn't playing around.
No, that's yeah. I agree. That's a fine line you guys have to run with video
And that's the thing with us. We're not quite big enough to where we're,
Yeah,
camera's going to
yeah.
save a deer's life, especially,
yeah.
a mature deer nonetheless like that. And just,
I get it. Everybody wants the kill shot. Everybody wants all that, but
Sometimes it just doesn't happen that way.
it doesn't happen that way.
Yeah, and you can't make it out to be any different.
Yeah, I mean,
than
you
how
can't-
It happens.
I want it to be real. I would
Yeah.
rather you guys be real and shoot that deer and not see the
Yeah.
kill shot footage as you turn around and look at the camera and go, well, we let that one walk off. That's when I'm like, all right, well, you're a moron.
Yeah. Right.
And you know what? That's awesome. If that's your business, if that's how you make your money, blah, 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 blah. Awesome. That's great. But, I mean, the average person, I'm not going to say the average person doesn't care, but you're not going to lose subscribers or followers over a non-kill shot.
Yeah.
when everybody else understands,
right.
especially when everybody else that's watching isn't doing what.
Yeah. And it's not like I can yell out to the deer, hey,
Yeah. Hang
let
on.
us, yeah.
Turn around. Come
Hold on,
back.
let Brady get the camera on.
Take 2, do it again.
Yeah.
Turn around.
Give me 10 minutes.
Come on back. Can you make that loop one more time?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be ready this time.
Slow down a little bit this time.
Yeah.
Not so fast.
A little slower.
Hey, can you hit that branch? Make it straight. Come on, you got to do something.
Put on a show.
That's everybody watches YouTube, watches a lot of hunting shows, especially like your western hunts. Man, like a lot of them, they turn into a circus so fast. I killed that New Mexico bull this year. I shot 7 times in under 2 minutes, something like that. I mean,
Yeah, crazy.
a lot of people are like, well, how do you get shots off that fast? That is something that you hit on it earlier. Shooting your bow out to 100 yards. People will spend all summer long, and I get it. Archery's, I'm not going to say it's cheaper than rifle hunting, but it's cheaper to practice.
Yeah.
Because you got reusable bullets. People will spend all summer long, shoot their bow fantastic, but they will bumblefuck their rifle
Yeah.
trying to get set up, which I get it. My solution to that is buy you a couple snap caps, put them in your rifle when you're laying in your easy chair watching TV, rolling on your iPad, looking at Facebook. Find you a target on the wall, weird, oddball, set your bipod up on your rifle, and just practice, jumping in, getting, and just dry firing that gun. Just running that bolt, working, whether it's a bolt or a pump or whatever, automatic, whatever anybody wants to run hunting.
Yeah.
But make sure you're very, you're proficient with your weapon. Because I see that so much.
And everyone thinks they know their way around their weapon until it comes go time and they're fumbling with the bolt, fumbling with the safety, trying to put another bullet in it.
Exactly.
And it becomes a big mess.
It's like self-defense all the way down to, self-defense. Or like, people say, well, no one will ever invade America because, everybody's gun owners. Well, everybody feels like their duty as a patriot. You don't rise to the occasion. You fall to your training level.
Yeah.
And people find out, greatly. Like I carry a gun on me everywhere I go, every day, all day. Even when I'm working, even when I'm digging, even when I'm down a ditch. It's just second nature. I mean, I've carried, part of my life I carried a gun, as my job.
Yeah.
It's just second nature. but I spend time even with one hand here. This is especially I'm left-handed, so my dominant hand is all bound up in this cool brace. I've been shooting right-handed pistol. I've shot right-handed pistol forever, but I've been going to the range tinkering around with one hand, just running drills, just for something to do. Just racking the slide off my heel, off my leg, just because I didn't plan for this to happen.
Right.
But I'm not going to be at my fighting weight, so to speak, when an occurrence happens. So you always want to train for yourself for self-defense. But like when it comes down to hunting time, like you guys am I going to let this huge bull walk off? Am I going to let this huge buck walk off because I don't feel comfortable taking this shot? Absolutely not. I'm going to be as best as I can. Now I'm not going to say every instance is going to it's going to work out every time, but it has gotten me more opportunities than not. By what else you got to do?
Yeah, train to be better.
Yeah,
I know so many people that, it's shooting a rifle. Look through the scope. It's easy. They don't practice, and I thoroughly enjoy just going and shooting a gun.
Oh, I love
anyway.
It. I love it.
But there's so many people that get their gun out, dust it off, and shoot it 1 or 2 times before they go hunting, and that's all it sees in a year's time.
And a barrel on a factory gun, a lot of them last 300 to 500 rounds. Most of them never see 200.
Yeah.
In their lifetime of deer hunting, their entire life, and that could be a gun that's passed down from grandpa to dad to me.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said earlier, I've shot barrels out in a year, and I just love to shoot on top of it. Another buddy of mine, we actually try to shoot once to twice a week during the week in the summertime, of course, because it doesn't get dark till 9 o'clock.
Right.
We run down to the range, and what we do, I hand load a lot of stuff. He, depending on what he's shooting, depends on what he hand loads for or not, but we shoot a lot of 22 mag and 17 HMR out to 300 yards. You learn how to shoot rimfire out, say 200 to 300 yards, you'll really be proficient. It really sets you up for, say, like shooting something like a medium-sized rifle, like a 6.5 Creedmoor, or even say like
7 mag, 270.
270, out to 700 yards. It really, you really learn your wind with that because, 22, it's like 22 long rifle. You don't have any ballistic coefficient.
No.
You do. I'm sure I'll piss a lot of people off saying that. You don't have any ballistic coefficient. You do have some ballistic coefficient, with a buck wind, but when you really get out past 500 yards, that's what makes or breaks a lot of guys when they're shooting is being able to read the wind. And if you learn how to shoot, something like that, then you can really learn to shoot the wind. So it's very inexpensive, training. What, $3 box of 22 shells?
Yeah.
Ruger 1022,
Well, we've been going almost 2 hours. So.
Holy shnikes.
Yeah. We're running up on 2 hours here.
Nice.
So.
Nice.
You want to go ahead and wrap her up?
Yeah, we can go ahead and wrap her up. And we'll have to hopefully get out there and do some video. And
Absolutely.
I know you said you don't run a camera, or much less know anything about your iPhone.
No.
He knows this one, but not a new one.
Yeah, not a new one.
I know this one. Like year 7, I wouldn't have known anything about it.
Yeah, but it's probably an 8. He just figured it out this year.
Just
Well,
getting there.
we'll have to get something planned, go out and do a little
Yeah,
filming
even
out
just,
there, 'cause,
we love
just the trip out there this year. It was,
Yeah.
the content out there is endless. There's
like
so
you
much
said, even not
Oh.
having a tag, just going to video and
I tell people that all the time. Like if you guys draw a great tag, I'll go with you, and I don't even have to have a tag.
Yep.
My buddy that lives in California, he's sitting on 18 preference points for deer and elk, and he doesn't have anybody else to go with him. Usually, guys want to draw 2 tags. You have a hunting buddy to go with. He goes, I don't have anybody to go with. He goes, I don't have anybody else at these points. And I said, well, let me know when you want to draw, and I'll just fly out and go with you. You will? I'm like, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to get to go hunt a 20-year mule deer unit.
Yeah.
In California, dude, that never happens. California is
Right.
A lot of people don't even know it, but it has some of the greatest mule deer and blacktail hunting ever was. That's a whole nother story on its own. What California does, but I'll never be able to go.
yeah, we don't
there.
care about the people. We just
exactly.
the hunting's good. We don't need to know about the people out there.
Now the people they're pretty fucking weird. Most of them.
Yeah, we won't get into that. That'd be a few more hours talking. Yeah. So we'll wrap it up. But I think for this one, I tell you guys not to shoot a deer in the main beam, but hopefully put your tag around it.
Absolutely. All right.
Absolutely.
Appreciate everybody listening. We'll catch y'all next time.